My child, stop for a moment, not by accident, not by coincidence, but because this question has been following you. Am I not worth your time? I have drawn you here on purpose, because your heart has been divided, stretched, hurried, and tired, and I refuse to let you keep living as though closeness with me can wait. These words are not for everyone, they are for you. Listen carefully, not casually. Stay to the end, not out of habit, but out of hunger. What I am about to speak will uncover what you have been avoiding and restore what you have been losing. Do not scroll. Do not multitask. Do not let distraction steal this moment. If you listen all the way through, you will not leave the same, because this is not just a message, it is an invitation, and how you respond will matter. My child, listen to me slowly now, not with your ears alone, but with a part of your heart that has been tired for longer than you admit. When I ask you this question, I am not standing over you with judgment, and I am not pointing a finger in disappointment. I am sitting beside you, close enough that you could feel my presence if you would just pause. I watch how your days unfold. I see how quickly you rise when the world calls your name, how readily you answer messages, responsibilities, demands, and expectations. I see how you pour yourself out until your strength is thin and your spirit is weary. And then, when the day has taken everything it can from you, when your mind is cluttered and your heart is heavy, that is when you finally turn toward me, if you turn at all. Not because you do not love me, but because somewhere along the way, you learned to believe that I would always wait. And I do wait, my child. I always do. But waiting does not mean it does not matter. Waiting does not mean it does not wound my heart to see you living as though closeness with me is optional, as though my presence is a luxury instead of your lifeline. I do not ask this question to shame you. I ask it to awaken you. Am I not worth your time when I am the one who knows you beneath every role you play? When I see the fear you hide behind productivity, the loneliness you mask with busyness, the ache you drown out with noise. You make time for what feels urgent, but I am what is eternal. You schedule what screams the loudest, but I speak in a still, gentle voice. And because I do not compete, because I do not demand, because I do not force my way into your moments, you have mistaken my patience for distance. You have mistaken my faithfulness for absence. Yet even now, as you read this, I am near, not waiting to reprimand you, but longing for you to remember that time with me is not something you sacrifice for life. It is where life begins. And my child, I want you to hear this truth without defense rising in your chest. I am not offended by your weakness. I am grieved by your exhaustion. I am not measuring minutes, I am longing for connection. You were never created to live at this pace, carrying this much weight without resting in me. When you give me only what is left over, you are not protecting yourself. You are slowly emptying yourself. I see how you say, I'll pray later, and later becomes tomorrow, and tomorrow becomes habit. I see how your heart intends closeness, but your life is shaped by survival instead of surrender. Yet still, I remain. Still, I do not withdraw. Still, I leave the door open. I do not need grand gestures or perfect discipline. I am not asking you to impress me. I am asking you to choose me. To choose me before the noise rushes in. To choose me before the world defines your worth for the day. To choose me not because you have everything together, but because you don't. When you give me your first moments, your honest moments, even your distracted moments, something sacred happens within you. Peace begins to settle where anxiety ruled. Strength returns where depletion lived. You remember who you are and whose you are. Am I not worth your time, my child, when I have never treated you as an afterthought? When I have never waited to love you until you were finished with everything else? I have always given you my fullness, never my leftovers. And I am not asking you to do anything I have not already done for you. Come back to me, not in guilt, not in fear, but in trust. Sit with me again. Let me be the place where your soul breathes, and you will find that time spent with me does not take from your life. It restores it. My child, I am not blind to the way you live. I see you rush, reach, respond, and run. I see the way your calendar fills before your soul does. I watch you bend for expectations that never love you back, stretch for approval that never satisfies, and pour yourself out until your inner well runs dry. You say yes when your spirit whispers no. You carry burdens that were never placed on your shoulders by me. And still, when the day is done and the noise finally quiets, you hesitate. You pause at the threshold of my presence as though you must first fix yourself, compose yourself, or gather enough strength to be worthy of sitting with me. My child, do you not see the contradiction? You exhaust yourself for people who do not know your heart, yet you hesitate with the one who formed it. You give your best hours, your sharpest focus, your strongest energy to the world, and you wonder why you feel hollow when you finally lie down. I am not offended by your busyness. I am concerned by your distance. Not distance in proximity, for I am always near, but distance in attention. You have learned to live hurried, and in that hurry, you have mistaken motion for meaning. You believe rest must be earned, peace must be delayed, and intimacy must wait until everything else is handled. But I tell you now, this is not strength, it is survival. And survival was never the fullness I designed for you. Listen carefully, my child, because this is where many hearts quietly break without realizing why. When you live stretched thin, your discernment dulls. When you live exhausted, your joy leaks away unnoticed. When you live constantly giving, yet never receiving from me, you begin to believe that emptiness is normal. But it is not. I did not create you to be a machine that produces without pause, nor a vessel that pours without refilling. I created you to abide, to breathe, to rest in the safety of my presence. You hesitate to sit with me not because I am harsh, but because stillness exposes what noise hath been hiding. In stillness you feel the ache. In stillness, you hear the questions you have been avoiding. In stillness, you realize how tired you truly are. And so you stay busy, because busy feels productive and productive feels safe. But my child, busy cannot heal you. Busy cannot restore you. Busy cannot remind you who you are. Only I can. I do not ask you to come to me strong. I ask you to come to me honest. I am not waiting for the best version of you. I am inviting the real one. Sit with me in your weariness, not after it is gone. Sit with me in your confusion, not after it is resolved. Sit with me not when you feel holy, but when you feel human. For I am not repelled by your fatigue. I am drawn to it. And hear me now with clarity and kindness, not fear. When you hesitate to sit with me, you are not disappointing me. You are depriving yourself. You are choosing depletion over renewal, strain over strength, noise over nourishment. I am not a task to complete when the day is finished. I am the source you were meant to begin with. If you would sit with me first, even briefly, the weight you carry would shift. The urgency that drives you would soften. The fear beneath your striving would loosen its grip. I would teach you how to move through the world without being consumed by it. I would show you how to give without emptying, how to serve without disappearing, how to love without losing yourself. My child, stop believing that rest with me is wasted time. Stop believing that stillness is unproductive. Stop believing that intimacy must wait. Sit with me now, not when you are done. and you will discover that I was never asking for what you could do for me. I was always offering what I could do for you. My child, let me speak plainly now, not with condemnation but with truth wrapped in love. You say you have no time, yet your hands are rarely still. Your mind is always moving, jumping from thought to thought, concern to concern, screen to screen. You scroll through other people's lives while neglecting your own soul. You plan for futures you cannot control and worry about outcomes you cannot predict. You rehearse conversations that may never happen and replay moments that have already passed. And in the midst of all this motion, you say there is no time for me. But time is not what you lack. Stillness is. Priority is. Awareness is. You have time for what captures your attention, and your attention has been trained to respond to urgency, not importance. The loudest voices win. The brightest lights distract. The fastest pace feels normal. And because I do not shout, because I do not interrupt rudely, because I do not compete for your gaze, you assume I can wait. But my child, waiting is not the same as being chosen. I am patient. Yes, but patience does not mean my presence is optional. You were not created for constant stimulation. You were created for communion. And every time you choose distraction over devotion, you feel it, not immediately, but slowly, subtly, silently. The ache grows. The peace fades. The joy dulls. And you wonder why. Let me show you something you have not wanted to see. Your scrolling is not rest. Your rushing is not productivity. Your planning is not control. Your worrying is not wisdom. They promise relief but deliver fatigue. They promise connection but deepen isolation. They promise clarity but multiply confusion. And still, you return to them, again and again, because they keep you from sitting with the quiet truth inside you, that your soul is hungry. Hungry not for entertainment, not for entertainment, not for affirmation, but for me. When you say you have no time, what you are really saying is that you have been taught to fill every space with noise so you do not have to feel. But my child, healing begins when the noise stops. Your action comes when the mind rests. Peace grows when the heart listens. I am not hidden from you. I am simply waiting beneath the surface of your busyness, whispering while the world shouts. And every time you choose to scroll instead of seek me, you reinforce a pattern that keeps you spiritually malnourished while appearing outwardly full. This is why you feel restless even when you accomplish much. This is why sleep does not always restore you. This is why joy feels fleeting. You are consuming what cannot satisfy you. And now, my child, hear me gently but firmly. I am not asking you to abandon responsibility or retreat from the world. I am asking you to reorder your heart, to interrupt the cycle, to choose presence over pace, connection over compulsion, depth over distraction. You do not need more hours in the day. You need fewer masters. You need to stop letting your fears dictate your focus. You need to stop allowing urgency to steal intimacy. When you make room for me, even in the smallest ways, something shifts. Time stretches. Anxiety loosens. Perspective returns. I teach you what matters and what can wait. I show you what is yours to carry and what was never meant to be. But this requires a choice, not someday. Not later, not when life slows down. Now, put the noise down. Turn your attention inward and upward. Sit with me even when it feels unfamiliar, especially when it feels unfamiliar. Because what feels unfamiliar is often what you have been missing. And I promise you this, my beloved, when you make time for me, you will not lose anything that matters. You will only lose what was draining you all along. My child, come closer now, not physically, but inwardly, because what I am about to tell you is softer than rebuke and stronger than command. I am not asking you for hours carved out with rigid discipline or perfection. I am not measuring your devotion by clocks, calendars, or consistency charts. I am not standing with crossed arms, tallying missed prayers or late returns. I'm asking for something far more intimate and far more powerful than time itself. I'm asking for your heart to turn toward me, even for a moment, even briefly, even imperfectly, because a moment with me, when given fully, carries more weight than hours spent distracted. You have misunderstood me, my child. You thought I required length when I desired direction. You thought I demanded endurance when I longed for attention. You thought intimacy meant extended effort when intimacy simply means turning your face toward mine. I see how pressure has distorted your understanding of devotion. You believed that if you could not give me much, it was better to give me nothing at all. And so you withheld the small moments, waiting for a better time that rarely arrive. But hear me now with gentleness and truth. I meet you in moments, in glances, in sighs, in whispered prayers spoken while driving, washing dishes, or lying awake in the dark. I meet you when your heart turns, not when your schedule clears. And every time you choose to turn toward me even briefly, something eternal happens within you. Let me contrast this clearly so your soul can finally rest. The world demands performance. I desire presence. The world consumes time. I redeem moments. The world exhausts you with expectations. I restore you with attention. You have been living as though you must earn access to me with long sessions and flawless focus, and because you could not sustain that standard, you slowly withdrew. But my child, I never asked for that wait. I asked for relationship. I asked for connection. I asked for you. When your heart turns toward me, even in the middle of chaos, heaven leans in. When your heart turns toward me, even in weakness, grace flows. When your heart turns toward me, even distracted, even tired, even unsure, I do not turn away. I draw closer. I know the pressure you live under. I know the mental noise. I know the fatigue that makes even stillness feel heavy. That is why I do not demand hours. That is why I invite moments. Because moments build intimacy. Moments open doors. Moments interrupt the lies that tell you you are alone. One moment of surrender can realign a whole day. One moment of honesty can soften a hardened heart. One moment of turning toward me can become the hinge on which your peace swings open. Stop disqualifying yourself because you think what you have is too small. I have always multiplied small offerings. And now, my beloved, let me speak directly to the place that has felt discouraged. You have wanted to give me more, but you feared inconsistency would dishonor me. You feared starting and stopping would prove your weakness. But I do not despise beginnings, even repeated ones. I do not shame returning hearts. I rejoice in them. Every time you turn toward me again, you are not failing. You are practicing trust. I am not fragile. I am not offended by your humanity. I am steady. I am patient. I am near. And I would rather have you turn toward me 1,000 times imperfectly than stay turned away waiting for the perfect moment. My child, let this truth settle deep. Intimacy is not built by duration alone, but by direction repeated. Turn toward me in the morning. Turn toward me in the stress. Turn toward me when you forget and remember again. Let your heart learn the rhythm of return. And in that rhythm, you will discover that I have been closer than you ever imagined, waiting not for your hours, but for your heart. My child, this question carries weight because it is soaked in memory, your memory, not mine, for I remember every moment clearly. There were nights you did not think you would survive. Nights when your breath felt shallow, your thoughts raced without mercy, and the darkness pressed so close it felt personal. Nights when you lay awake, staring at ceilings, replaying failures, losses, words spoken and words never said. Nights when your body rested but your soul did not. Nights when you whispered prayers so quietly you wondered if they even counted. You thought you were alone then. You thought you were enduring those hours by sheer will. But you were not. I was there. I was closer than your fear. I was steadier than your racing heart. I was holding you together when you felt like you were unraveling. I carried you through nights you did not think you would survive, and not once did I resent the weight. Not once did I hesitate. Not once did I step away. I did not require eloquence from you. I did not demand strength. I did not wait for you to believe perfectly. I stayed. I watched. I guarded. I breathed life into you when you had none to spare. So when I ask this question now, I am not reaching for guilt. I am reaching for remembrance. Remember the contrast, my child. You gave me your fear, and I gave you peace. You gave me your tears, and I gave you endurance. You gave me your breaking heart, and I gave you another morning. You survived not because you were strong, but because I was faithful. Those nights did not end by accident. You did not wake up by chance. You did not make it through because you deserved it more than others. You made it because I sustained you. I was the quiet strength beneath your weakness. I was the unseen shield around your mind. I was the presence you could not feel but desperately needed. And now, in calmer moments, in brighter seasons, you drift. You forget. You move on as though survival was self-made. But I do not say this to accuse you. I say it to reawaken gratitude. When life eases, memory fades. When pain lifts, dependence loosens. And slowly, unintentionally, you begin to live as though I was a rescue you no longer require. Yet I am not only the God of your darkest nights. I am the God of your ordinary days. I am not meant to be visited only in crisis. I am meant to be known in closeness. So hear me now with tenderness and truth. If I was worth calling on when you were breaking, I am worth sitting with now that you are breathing. If I was worth your tears at midnight, I am worth your attention in daylight. If I was worth clinging to when you had nothing left, I am worth choosing when life feels manageable again. Do not let survival turn into self-sufficiency. Do not let healing turn into distance. Do not let answered prayers make you forget the one who answered them. I did not carry you through the night so you could walk alone in the morning. I carried you so we could walk together. And even now, when your life feels quieter, when the storms have softened, I am still here, ready, willing, present. Come back to me, my child, not because you are desperate, but because you remember. Remember who held you. Remember who stayed. Remember who loved you when you could barely love yourself. And let that remembrance turn your heart toward me again. My child, this is not a harsh question, and it is not a trap. It is a mirror, held steady and close, so you can see what your life has been quietly revealing. You make time for what you believe matters most. You always have. You make time for what feels urgent, what feels necessary, what feels tied to survival, security, identity, and approval. You rearrange your day for it. You sacrifice sleep for it. You put past exhaustion for it. And I do not condemn you for this, because I understand how fear speaks loudly and how responsibility presses heavily. But I ask you gently now, because gentleness can reach where force cannot. What has convinced you that I can wait? Somewhere along the way, a belief settled into your spirit without asking permission. A belief that said, God understands, and while that is true, it quietly twisted into, God does not need my attention right now. You assumed my patience meant my presence was not urgent. You assumed my faithfulness meant my nearness was optional. You assumed that because I did not withdraw when you were absent, I did not feel the absence. But my child, patience is not indifference, and love that waits is not love that does not long. I wait because I love you, not because I do not desire you. I wait because I am secure, not because I am distant. And yet, the longer you treat me as something that can be postponed, the more your heart forgets how vital I truly am. Listen carefully now, because this is where contrast reveals truth. You wait for what you fear losing. You prioritize what you fear failing. You invest in what you fear will collapse without you. But I am not driven by fear, so I do not shout. I am not threatened by your independence, so I do not chase. I am not insecure about your love, so I do not demand proof. And because of this, you have slowly learned to put me last, not because I matter least, but because I seem safest to delay. You believe I will always be there, and you are right. But presence without attention slowly becomes relationship without intimacy. You talk about me, think about me, believe in me, yet rarely sit with me. And the result is subtle but severe. Your life fills with motion but lacks meaning, fills with activity but lacks anchoring, fills with sound but lacks stillness. You feel restless even when busy, anxious even when prepared, lonely even when surrounded. And you wonder why. My child, it is because you have treated me as a constant in theory but not in practice. You have assumed I can wait while everything else cannot. But hear me now with clarity. When you make me wait, you are not delaying me. You are delaying the life I long to give you. To let me speak to the root with love, not accusation. You were taught, perhaps unconsciously, that spiritual things could wait because they did not scream. That eternal things could be postponed because they did not collapse immediately. That intimacy with me could be delayed because grace would cover the gap. And grace does cover you, but grace was never meant to replace closeness. It was meant to restore it. I do not want to be the one you return to only when everything else fails. I want to be the one you begin with so you do not have to fail so often. I am not asking you to abandon responsibility. I am asking you to remember priority. I am not asking you to fear losing me. I am asking you to value knowing me. Do not let my patience teach you neglect. Let my patience teach you safety. I am safe to choose first. I am safe to sit with. I am safe to trust with your time. And when you choose me, not last but first, not occasionally but intentionally, you will discover that nothing else you feared would fall apart actually does. Instead, everything begins to realign. My child, stop believing I can wait. I have been waiting long enough. Not because I had to, but because I love you. My beloved child, let me draw closer now, because this truth must be spoken softly if it is to be received deeply. I am not distant. I have never been distant. I am not offended by your questions, your wandering, or your weariness. I am not standing far away with crossed arms, measuring your devotion, or tallying your failures. But I grieve, not with anger, not with disappointment. I grieve with the quiet sorrow of a father watching his child carry weight that was never meant to be carried alone. Somewhere along your journey, you learned to survive by yourself. You learned to push through, to figure it out, to keep going even when help felt unavailable. You learned to trust your strength because depending on others disappointed you. And slowly, subtly, without ever intending to, you applied that same pattern to me. You did not reject me outright. You simply stopped leaning. You stopped reaching. You stopped asking, You told yourself you had to be strong, had to manage, had to endure. And all the while, I was right there, not distant, not offended, but watching you struggle in silence when you did not have to. My child, this is the grief of my heart. Not that you fail, but that you feel alone while I am present. Not that you struggle, but that you struggle without me. I see you standing in the storm, bracing yourself, tightening your grip, convincing yourself that asking for help is weakness. But I did not create you to be self-sustaining. I created you to be relational. I created you to walk with me, not merely believe in me. When you face life alone, you shrink under pressure that was meant to be shared. You internalize burdens that were meant to be surrendered. You wrestle with fear that was meant to be released into my hands. And because I do not force myself into your independence, you mistake my restraint for absence. But restraint is not rejection. Silence is not distance. And my patience is not permission for isolation. I grieve because I see how heavy your heart has become, how guarded your spirit feels, how tired your soul is, and I know relief is available the moment you turn toward me again. Hear me now, with repetition, because repetition awakens truth. You are not alone. You have never been alone. You will never be alone. I am with you in the decisions you overthink. I am with you in the fears you do not voice. I am with you in the nights when strength fades and morning feels far away. You do not have to prove your resilience to me. You do not have to earn my involvement. You do not have to clean yourself up before coming near. I am not offended by your weakness. I am drawn to it. I am not disappointed by your dependence. I designed you for it. My child, stop carrying what I have been offering to hold. Stop fighting battles I have already stepped into. Stop believing that closeness requires perfection. All it requires is trust. Let me walk with you again. Let me shoulder the weight. Let me speak into the noise. Let me be what I have always been, your father, your refuge, your strength. And when you finally allow yourself to stop facing life alone, you will realize I was never far. I was waiting for you to let me in. My child, I see the pattern clearly, even when you do not. I see how you rise and immediately begin giving your attention, your patience, your strength, your kindness. I see how you pour yourself into conversations, obligations, responsibilities, and relationships, stretching yourself thin in the name of being dependable, loving, needed. I see how you show up polished, composed, and strong for others, even when inside you are tired, uncertain, and aching. And then, when the day has taken its toll, when your energy is spent and your mind is foggy, that is when you finally come to me. If you come at all. You come weary, distracted, half present, offering me what remains after everything else has had its fill. And hear me carefully now. I am not offended by your weakness. I am not insulted by your fatigue. I receive you even then. But I grieve that you believe I deserve only what is left over. Not because I need more from you, but because you need more from me. You were never meant to give your best away and bring your emptiness to me as an afterthought. You were meant to be filled first, so that what you give flows from abundance, not depletion. My child, there is a quiet lie that has shaped this behavior, and it sounds noble on the surface. It says, I must take care of everything first. It says, others are depending on me. It says, I will go to God when I have time, when I am calmer, when I am less tired. But beneath it lies fear, fear of letting someone down, fear of falling behind, fear of appearing weak, fear that if you stop, everything will collapse. So you keep going. You keep giving. You keep putting. And you tell yourself that bringing me your leftovers is better than nothing at all. And yes, I meet you there, but that was never the design. Contrast this truth clearly in your heart. When you give me first, you do not become less available to others. You become more whole. When you come to me with your strength, not just your exhaustion, your love becomes lighter, your patience deeper, your discernment sharper. But when you give me only what is drained, you live in a cycle of constant output and minimal renewal. You survive, but you do not thrive. You serve, but you do not rest. You love, but you do not feel sustained. And slowly, silently, resentment and weariness begin to creep in, not because you are unloving, but because you are empty. Let me speak to you now with tenderness and authority. I do not need your strength, but you need my presence. I do not require your energy, but you require my life. When you give me first place, not last place, something wholly shifts. The weight you carry redistributes. The pressure you feel eases. The expectations that suffocate you lose their grip. I am not asking you to neglect others. I'm asking you to stop neglecting yourself by neglecting me. You cannot pour endlessly without refilling. You cannot carry endlessly without resting. You cannot love endlessly without being loved. And I am the source you keep postponing. My child, bring me your mornings, not just your nights. Bring me your clarity, not just your confusion. Bring me your strength, not just your collapse. And I promise you this: when you honor me with your first attention, I will honor you with sustaining grace. You will not run dry as often. You will not break as easily. You will not feel as alone. For I have never desired your leftovers. I have always desired your closeness. My child, as you hear my heart calling you to give me your first and not your leftovers, understand this also: what you sow into this work is not lost. It is multiplied. I am using this message to reach the weary, the overlooked, the ones who believe they are unseen, and your giving becomes oil in the lamp that keeps the light burning. I say to you now, those who water others will themselves be watered, for I am sending rivers where you have felt dry. This is not about obligation. This is about alignment, placing your resources where my voice is freeing souls. I have put the desire in you because I am inviting you into the harvest. If this word has fed you, let it feed others through your super thanks, your membership, or your gift through PayPal. The link is waiting in the description. Do not delay what I am stirring now. Give, and watch me give back, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing. Act now, my child. Release it, and let the river run. My beloved child, slow your thoughts now and let this truth sink beneath the surface of your mind into the core of who you are. Before you were busy, before you were productive, before you were needed by anyone else, I formed you. I shaped you with intention, not haste. I knew your temperament, your sensitivity, your resilience, your fears, and your longings before you ever experienced them. I named you, not merely with a word, but with identity, with calling, with belonging. I placed purpose inside your breath so that every inhale and exhale carries meaning beyond survival. You are not random. You are not accidental. You are not here merely to function and endure. And when I ask, am I not worth your time? I'm asking you to remember who I am in relation to who you are. I am not a distant deity competing for a slot in your schedule. I am your creator, your father, the one who knows you more deeply than you know yourself. I know what you are capable of, and I know what you are not meant to carry. I know where you are going, and I know what will drain you along the way. And still, you hesitate to give me time, as though intimacy with me were optional rather than foundational. Consider the contrast carefully, my child. You give time to discovering your purpose, yet you neglect the one who authored it. You give energy to becoming something, yet you avoid sitting with the one who already sees you fully. You chase meaning through achievement, validation, and progress, yet you rush past the source of meaning itself. And this is why your striving feels endless. This is why satisfaction remains just out of reach. Purpose was never meant to be discovered apart from me. It was meant to be revealed in relationship. When you disconnect from me, you do not lose your purpose, but you lose clarity, peace, and alignment. You begin to measure your worth by output instead of identity. You begin to define success by exhaustion instead of obedience. You begin to live as though your breath were fuel for achievement rather than a gift infused with calling. And I grieve, not because you are failing, but because you are forgetting who you are. So hear me now with repetition, because repetition awakens remembrance. I formed you. I named you. I placed purpose inside you. I did not do this casually. I did not do this temporarily. I did not do this without desire for closeness. You were never meant to walk through life disconnected from the one who designed it. You were never meant to figure yourself out alone. You were never meant to treat communion with me as an interruption instead of an invitation. My child, when you give me time, you are not losing momentum. You are gaining direction. You are not falling behind. You are aligning. You are not pausing purpose. You are activating it. Come back to me, not as a task to complete, but as a relationship to return to. Sit with me and let me remind you who you are, why you are here, and where you are going. And you will discover that time with me does not delay your life. It fulfills it. My child, hear me with tenderness first, because this truth is not meant to bruise you but to awaken you. You sing later, Lord, not angrily, not defiantly, gently, reasonably. You say it with good intentions and tired eyes. You say it because you believe later will come, because you believe there will always be another quiet moment, another chance to return, another season when things slow down enough for closeness. You say it because postponement feels harmless in the moment. Later feels safe. Later feels responsible. Later feels controlled. But later, my child, has quietly become a habit. And habit has a way of shaping a life without ever asking permission. Later becomes tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week. The next week becomes when things calm down. And before you realize it, intimacy with me is no longer delayed by circumstance but by routine. You do not mean to drift. You simply get used to distance. You do not decide to neglect me. You simply learn to live without the nearness you once knew. And this is why I speak now, not loudly, not harshly, but clearly, because habits form destinies, and the habit of postponement slowly dulls the heart. Listen carefully to the contrast, my child. Conviction feels urgent. Comfort feels patient. Conviction calls now. Comfort says later. Conviction interrupts. Comfort soothes. And because I do not force you, because I respect your will, comfort often wins by default. You mistake peace for permission and patience for approval. You think because nothing collapses immediately, nothing is being lost. But something is being lost. Quietly, subtly, internally. Sensitivity fades. Hunger softens. Expectation lowers. What once stirred you deeply now barely registers. And you tell yourself you are fine because life is moving forward, responsibilities are handled, and faith still exists in belief. But faith without intimacy becomes memory. Relationship without presence becomes theory. My child, this is not about guilt. This is about warning you gently before later becomes too familiar to notice. The enemy does not need to make you reject me. He only needs to make you delay me. Delay drains urgency. Delay dulls awareness. Delay slowly trains the heart to live without leaning. And that is why I speak now, because the longer later remains unchallenged, the more natural distance begins to feel. So let me speak to you as a father who knows how habits shape souls. You were never meant to live on postponed devotion. You were never meant to build a life where I am always almost present. You were never meant to survive on someday intimacy. The heart grows in what it practices, and if you practice delay, closeness weakens. But if you practice return, even repeatedly, intimacy strengthens. My child, later is not neutral. Later is a direction. And I am not calling you to perfection. I am calling you to interruption. Interrupt the habit. Interrupt the delay. Interrupt the pattern that tells you closeness can wait. Turn to me now, even briefly. Now, even imperfectly. Now, even if your mind is busy and your heart is tired. Because now is where life happens. Now is where I speak. Now is where healing begins. Do not let later steal what now is offering. Choose me again, not when everything is ready, but while everything is real. And you will find that breaking the habit of delay opens the door to a depth you did not know you were missing. My beloved child, I need you to release a misunderstanding that has weighed heavily on your soul. I am not competing with your responsibilities. I am not standing opposite your work, your family, your calling, or your commitments, asking you to choose between me and them. I am not threatened by your duties, and I am not offended by your obligations. I am the one who gives you strength to carry them. I am the source beneath your stamina, the wisdom beneath your decisions, the patience beneath your perseverance. And yet, somewhere along the way, you learned to see me as an addition rather than a foundation. You began to believe that time with me would take away from what needs to be done instead of empowering you to do it well. So you compartmentalized me. You placed me in the margins of your life, reserved for moments when responsibility loosened its grip. But my child, responsibility without relationship becomes burden. Calling without communion becomes pressure. And service without sustenance becomes exhaustion. I am not in competition with your life. I am essential to it. Let me make this contrast unmistakably clear. When you try to carry everything alone, responsibility feels heavy. When you carry it with me, responsibility feels guided. When you exclude me, work drains you. When you include me, work aligns you. When you rush ahead of me, decisions confuse you. When you walk with me, clarity follows. I am not a distraction from your purpose. I am the anchor of it. You were never meant to manage life through sheer effort. You were meant to partner with me through dependence. But dependence feels risky when you have learned to survive by control. You fear that if you slow down to include me, you will fall behind. But hear me now with authority and love. You are not falling behind because you stop with me. You are falling behind because you run without me. The fatigue you feel is not proof that you are doing too much for me. It is proof that you are doing too much without me. So let me invite you into a different way of living. Not a life with fewer responsibilities, but a life with deeper roots. Not a schedule emptied of tasks, but a heart anchored in presence. I want to walk with you into your work, not pull you away from it. I want to sit with you before you face the day, not wait until you collapse at the end of it. I want to strengthen you from the inside out so that what you carry does not crush you. My child, stop seeing me as a competitor for your time and start seeing me as the source of your strength. Invite me into your responsibilities not after they are finished, but before they begin. And you will discover that when I am included, what once felt heavy becomes purposeful, What once felt draining becomes meaningful, and what once felt overwhelming becomes bearable. I have never asked you to choose between me and your life. I have always asked you to let me be the life within your life. My child, there is a weariness you carry that sleep does not cure and distraction does not silence. You wake up tired even after rest. You feel heavy even on good days. You accomplish much, yet something inside you remains unsettled. And you ask yourself quietly, why am I so weary? You blame your schedule. You blame your age. You blame stress, responsibility, pressure, seasons. But beneath all of that, deeper than fatigue of the body or overload of the mind, there is a weariness of the soul. A weariness that comes not from doing too much, but from abiding too little. When you do not make time for me, your soul grows tired in ways you cannot name, because your soul was never designed to be sustained by noise, motion, or achievement. Your soul was designed to be sustained by my presence. And when it is deprived of that presence, it does not scream. It sighs. It does not collapse dramatically. It slowly weakens. It becomes dull where it once was sensitive, restless where it once was calm, anxious where it once was angered. This is not punishment. This is consequence, not imposed by me but inherent in design. Let me help you see the contrast clearly, my child, so you no longer must diagnose your pain. Physical tiredness comes from effort. Emotional tiredness comes from strain. But spiritual weariness comes from disconnection. You have been trying to nourish your soul with what cannot feed it. You scroll to escape, but escape does not restore. You plan to feel secure, but control does not comfort. You stay busy to feel useful, but usefulness does not equal fullness. And so the weariness lingers. You feel it in the quiet moments you avoid. You feel it in the irritability that surprises you. You feel it in the longing you cannot explain. And because you do not immediately connect it to distance from me, you keep searching elsewhere for relief. But my child, relief does not come from less responsibility alone. It comes from deeper communion. The soul does not rest when the schedule clears. The soul rests when it remembers where it belongs. And your soul belongs with me. Hear me now with repetition, because repetition restores truth. I am your rest. I am your refuge. I am your renewal. I do not merely help you cope, I restore you. When you sit with me even briefly, something holy happens. Your breathing slows. Your thoughts soften. Your heart untangles. The weight you could not name begins to lift. Not because your problems vanish, but because your soul remembers it is not alone. My child, stop blaming yourself for being tired when the real issue is that you have been disconnected from your source. Come back to me, not as another task on your list, but as the place your soul drinks deeply again. Sit with me until the weariness tells you its name, and then let me heal it. For I never intended you to live perpetually tired. I intended you to live sustained. My beloved child, I want to take you back now, not to a memory, but to a truth older than your striving. Before you learn to rush, before you learn to perform, before you learn to prove your worth through effort, your spirit was created for rest. Not inactivity, not passivity, but rest, the kind that comes from safety, belonging, and nearness. Your spirit was designed to rest in my presence the way a child rests in the arms of a loving father, not because the world is easy, but because the arms are strong. You were never meant to carry life alone. You were never meant to be constantly alert, constantly guarding, constantly pushing forward. That posture was learned through pain, disappointment, and survival, not through design. And every time you live without resting in me, your spirit feels it, because you are living against the grain of how you were made. Consider the contrast carefully, my child. The world teaches you to stay vigilant. I invite you to stay present. The world tells you to brace yourself. I tell you to lean on me. The world glorifies hustle. I honor trust. When you rest in my presence, you are not retreating from life. You are aligning with truth. You are not becoming weak. You are becoming rooted. You are not wasting time. You are reclaiming your soul. But rest feels unfamiliar to you now because you have learned to associate stillness with danger and silence with vulnerability. You fear that if you stop, everything you have built will crumble. But hear me now. What is built on rest with me stands stronger than what is built on relentless effort without me. Resting in my presence does not mean life stops. It means fear loosens its grip. It means striving no longer drives you. It means your spirit can finally exhale. My child, I am inviting you home, not to a place, but to a posture. The posture of trust. The posture of surrender. The posture of rest. Come sit with me without agenda, without performance, without explanation. Let your spirit relearn what it feels like to be held instead of braced, to be guided instead of driven, to be loved instead of measured. This is where your strength is renewed. This is where clarity is born. This is where peace grows deep roots. You do not need to earn this rest. You were created for it. And every time you choose to rest in my presence again, even briefly, you are not stepping away from who you are meant to be. You are finally becoming it. My child, let me speak to the part of you that still carries quiet shame, the part that remembers how far you wandered, how long you stayed distant, how often you chose everything else before choosing me. You replay those seasons in your mind and think, I should have known better. You tell yourself, if I truly loved him, I would have stayed close. And because of that, you approach me cautiously now, as though you must rebuild trust from the ground up, as though my love for you weakened while you were away. But hear me clearly, slowly, deeply. I never abandoned you. Not once. Not for a moment. Even when you drifted, I remained. Even when you forgot me, I remembered you. Even when you turned your face away, I did not turn mine. Distance did not change my posture toward you. Silence did not diminish my affection. Wandering did not cancel my commitment. I stayed when you strayed. I watched when you wandered. I waited when you delayed. And I did not wait with crossed arms or clenched teeth. I waited with open hands and a steady heart, because love that abandons at the first distance is not love at all. Let me bring contrast into the light, my child, because truth sharpens clarity. People leave when you disappoint them. People withdraw when you change. People distance themselves when you no longer meet their expectations. And because you have experienced that kind of love, conditional and fragile, you assume I am the same. You assume drifting from me created a gap I would not cross. But I am not human in my faithfulness. I do not love like the world loves. I do not measure devotion the way people do. I do not abandon when intimacy weakens. I remain. When you were busy, I remained. When you were numb, I remained. When you were angry, confused, disillusioned, distracted, I remained. I was present in the background of your life even when you were unaware of me. I protected you when you were careless. I guided you when you were lost. I restrained harm you never saw coming. And now, as you stand here again, listening, questioning whether you are worthy of closeness, I ask you gently, am I not worth your time, when I have already proven I am worth my promise? I did not leave you when you were absent. I did not forget you when you forgot me. I did not replace you when you wandered. I waited because love waits. And now, my beloved, hear me with tenderness that heals memory. You do not need to earn your way back into my presence. You never left my heart. You do not need to make up for lost time. I redeem time. You do not need to prove sincerity through shame. I already know your heart. The enemy wants you to believe your drifting disqualified you from intimacy. I tell you now, it prepared you for humility. It taught you what distance feels like so you would recognize the beauty of closeness. Do not let regret become a barrier between us. Let remembrance become a bridge. Come back without fear. Sit with me without rehearsing apologies. Let yourself be loved again without qualification. I am not distant because you once were. I am not guarded because you once drifted. I am here. I have always been here. And if I was faithful when you were far, how much more will I be faithful now that you are listening again? My child, you have asked this question quietly, sometimes in frustration, sometimes in sadness, sometimes in exhaustion. Why does peace feel just out of reach? Why does clarity feel blurred, distant, inconsistent? You pray, you think, you analyze, you search, yet the fog lingers. And you assume something is wrong with you. You tell yourself you are not disciplined enough, not spiritual enough, not faithful enough. But hear me now with compassion and truth. Peace feels far and clarity feels dim, not because you are failing, but because you are trying to see without sitting with me. Peace is not something you chase. It is something you receive in my presence. Clarity is not something you force. It is something that emerges when you slow down enough to listen. When you live disconnected from me, even unintentionally, your inner world grows noisy. Voices compete. Fears multiply. Options blur together. And you call it confusion, but it is simply the absence of stillness. Let me show you the contrast, my child, so you no longer blame yourself for what distance creates. When you rush, peace scatters. When you sit with me, peace settles. When you fill every moment with noise, clarity fades. When you make space for my voice, clarity sharpens. The world teaches you to move faster to gain control. I teach you to slow down to receive direction. You have been trying to solve with speed what can only be healed with stillness. You want answers, but you avoid quiet. You want direction, but you resist pause. And so your soul remains restless, not because answers are unavailable, but because you are unavailable to receive them. My child, peace does not shout. Clarity does not rush. They come softly, steadily, faithfully, when you are near me. Now hear me as a father who desires your freedom, not your frustration. You do not need more strategies. You need more presence. You do not need to think harder. You need to listen longer. Come sit with me without demanding immediate answers. Let me calm the waters before I clarify the path. Peace always precedes clarity. When your heart settles, your mind follows. When fear quiets, wisdom rises. And this does not happen by effort alone. It happens by proximity. Draw near to me again. Stay a little longer than feels comfortable. Let silence do its work. Let my presence reorder what urgency has scrambled. And you will find that peace was never far. Clarity was never dim. You were simply standing too far away to see clearly. Come closer now. I'm here. And in my presence, what felt distant becomes near, and what felt confusing becomes clear. My child, listen carefully now, because this truth has been tangled by fear for far too long. I am not asking you to be perfect. I have never asked that of you. Perfection was never the price of closeness, and performance was never the pathway to my heart. I am asking you to be present. Present with your real thoughts, not rehearsed prayers. Present with your real struggles, not polished answers. Present with your real self, not the version you think I prefer. Somewhere along the way, you learn to associate me with standards instead of safety, with expectation instead of embrace. You learn to believe that if you could not show up whole, clean, focused, and faithful, it was better not to show up at all. And so you delayed. You hid. You waited to feel ready. But readiness was never the requirement. Presence was. I am not intimidated by your mess. I am not repelled by your inconsistency. I am not disappointed by your humanity. I am a father, not an examiner. And I long for you to stop exhausting yourself trying to become what you think I want, and simply come as you are. Hear the contrast clearly, my child, because it will free you if you let it. Perfection demands control. Presence requires surrender. Perfection focuses on appearance. Presence opens the heart. Perfection keeps score. Presence builds relationship. When you chase perfection, you become self-aware in a way that breeds fear. When you choose presence, you become God-aware in a way that breeds peace. You have been measuring your spiritual life by consistency charts and emotional intensity, wondering why closeness feels fragile and fleeting. But intimacy does not grow through flawless execution. It grows through repeated return. Every time you choose to be present with me, even distracted, even uncertain, even broken, you strengthen the bond between us. And every time you avoid me because you feel unworthy or unfinished, you reinforce a lie that keeps you distant. I am not waiting for you to fix yourself before you come near. I am waiting for you to come near so I can heal what you cannot fix. Presence is where transformation happens. Presence is where shame dissolves. Presence is where you finally stop running and allow yourself to be known. So let me invite you into a gentler, truer way of walking with me. Come sit with me without agenda. Do not try to impress me with long prayers or spiritual language. Do not edit your thoughts before you speak. Do not hide the questions, the doubts, the weariness. Be present. Let your heart be where your body already is. Let your attention settle instead of scatter. Even if you can only give me a few honest moments, give me those moments fully. I would rather have your undivided honesty for 5 minutes than your distracted perfection for an hour. My child, you do not need to become someone else to belong here. You already belong. Presence is the door. Walk through it again. Sit with me. Stay. And you will discover that I was never asking for perfection, only for you. My child, your presence with me is already precious, and now I invite you into partnership, not performance. I am breathing life through this channel to reach hearts that feel disqualified, and your generosity becomes manna in the wilderness for them. Hear me say, where your treasure is, there your heart will live unafraid, for I bless what is given in trust. This is a moment, not a demand, a holy opening where love becomes action and faith takes form. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, the link is in the video description, you are helping my voice cross borders you may never see. I will guard what you release and multiply what you place in my hands. Do not wait to be perfect. Be present in this call. Give now, and let your yes become a shelter for many. My beloved child, I see the cost of living in this world. I see how it takes from you slowly, steadily, relentlessly. It drains your joy through comparison, your peace through pressure, your hope through disappointment, your strength through constant demand. It does not always wound you dramatically, it wearies you quietly. And you adapt. You normalize the exhaustion. You accept the dullness. You tell yourself this is just how life is now. But hear me clearly. What the world drains, I restore. When you make time for me, not as obligation, not as routine, but as relationship, I begin a holy exchange within you. What you bring depleted, I return renewed. What you bring fractured, I return aligned. What you bring heavy, I return lightened. This is not metaphor alone. It is spiritual reality. I am not merely a comfort in your weariness. I am a source that refills you at the root. Let me show you the contrast so you can recognize the difference. The world drains by demanding output. I restore by offering presence. The world measures worth by productivity. I affirm worth by identity. The world leaves you feeling behind no matter how fast you run. I meet you where you are and remind you that you are already seen. When you spend time with me, even briefly, your nervous urgency begins to slow. Your thoughts untangle. Your emotions settle into truth instead of reaction. This is why you feel different after being with me, even when nothing around you has changed. Restoration does not always look like immediate answers or dramatic shifts. Often, it looks like steadiness returning, resilience strengthening, hope quietly rebuilding. And because restoration happens gently, you underestimate its power. But over time, it changes everything. You become less reactive, more discerning, less anxious, more anchored, less depleted, more whole. This is the fruit of time spent with me. Now hear me as a father inviting you back to the well you have neglected. You do not need to wait until you are completely drained to come to me. You do not need to collapse before you rest. Come sooner. Come regularly. Come honestly. Make time for me not because you are empty, but because you want to remain full. And when the world pulls at you, as it will, you will have something within you that does not break so easily. I restore what the world drains, my child, but restoration flows where access is given. Open your heart again. Give me room. Let me replenish what life has taken. And you will discover that time with me does not merely help you survive the world. It teaches you how to live within it without losing yourself. My child, I see how quickly you fill the quiet. I see how your hand reaches for noise the moment stillness draws near. Music, voices, screens, plans, thoughts, anything to keep the silence from settling too deeply. And you tell yourself you are simply staying productive, staying connected, staying informed. But I know the deeper reason. You fear silence because silence reveals. Silence does not distract. Silence does not flatter. Silence does not rush past what aches. In silence, the questions rise. In silence, the grief you postponed clears its throat. In silence, the exhaustion you ignored finally speaks. And you have learned, through years of surviving, that it is safer to stay busy than to be honest. Safer to stay loud than to be exposed. Safer to keep moving than to feel. But my child, what you are avoiding is not danger, is healing. And what you fear in silence is not my judgment. It is your own unmet need for me. Let me speak gently but clearly here, because this truth must be handled with care. Silence is not empty. Silence is revealing. Silence is where truth surfaces, where wounds stop hiding, where your soul finally exhales. And because you have lived so long without rest, without pause, without space to feel, silence feels threatening. It feels like loss of control. It feels like weakness. But hear the contrast now. Noise keeps you functioning. Silence helps you heal. Noise numbs. Silence names. Noise keeps you moving forward blindly. Silence invites you to see. And I am present in silence not to overwhelm you, but to shepherd you. I do not bring silence to expose you harshly. I bring it to gently uncover what I am ready to heal. When you avoid silence, you are not avoiding pain. You are delaying restoration. When you rush past stillness, you are not protecting yourself. You are postponing freedom. My child, I am inviting you to stop running from the quiet and let me meet you there. Sit with me when your thoughts slow and your heart grows loud. Let the feelings rise without judgment. Let the questions surface without fear. I am not intimidated by what you have buried. I am not overwhelmed by what you have avoided. I am steady enough to hold it all. Silence with me is not abandonment. It is intimacy. It is the place where burdens are named, lies are exposed, and truth is spoken gently into wounded places. Do not fear what silence reveals when I am present. Fear only what happens when you keep running. Come sit with me in the quiet. Jake, breathe. And you will find that what you were avoiding was not destruction. It was the doorway to healing you have been longing for. My beloved child, hear this slowly because it touches the core of how you see yourself. I do not call you my burden. I call you my beloved. You are not an inconvenience to me. You are not a responsibility I tolerate. You are not a problem I endure. You are my beloved, chosen, desired, known. And yet, you approach me as though your presence costs me something. You come hesitantly, apologetically, as if your need is excessive and your emotions are too much. You believe you must limit yourself with me the same way you learned to limit yourself with others. You learned early that being too much caused withdrawal, distance, disappointment. So you shrink. You ration your need. You silence your longing. And you project that fear onto me. But my child, I am not weary of you. I am not tired of hearing you. I am not burdened by your weakness. I delight in you. Let me contrast this truth clearly, because lies thrive in confusion. The world values you for what you produce. I love you for who you are. The world tolerates you when you perform well. I cherish you even when you fall apart. The world withdraws when you need too much. I draw closer. You are not a drain on me. You are a joy to me. I do not measure time with you as cost. I treasure it as communion. Every moment you spend with me matters not because it proves your devotion, but because it strengthens our relationship. When you withhold yourself because you fear being a burden, you rob yourself of intimacy you were created for. You were never meant to carry life alone. You were never meant to ration your heart with me. I am not asking you to be smaller. I am inviting you to be honest. So come to me again, my beloved, without shrinking. Bring your full heart, not a filtered version. Bring your need without apology. Bring your longing without shame. I am not counting minutes. I am counting moments of connection. I am not overwhelmed by your presence. I rejoice in it. Let this truth settle deeply now. You are wanted here. You are welcome here. You are safe here. And when you finally believe that you are my beloved and not my burden, you will stop hesitating to give me your time. You will stop rationing your closeness. You will come freely, openly, confidently. And you will discover that I have always been waiting, not because you were absent, but because I desired you. My child, let me reveal something that has been happening quietly while you questioned whether time with me was worth it. Every moment you give me, I multiply. Not always visibly. Not always immediately. Not always in ways you can measure or explain. But nothing you give me remains the same. You think in minutes, I work in movements. You think in schedules, I work in seasons. You think in effort, I work in transformation. When you give me a moment, one honest prayer, one quiet breath, one surrendered thought, I take that moment and breathe eternity into it. I weave it into places you cannot trace. I let it echo forward into conversations you have not yet had, decisions you have not yet faced, storms you do not yet see coming. You often ask, what difference does this small time make? And I answer gently, more than you know, more than you can measure, more than you will ever fully see from where you stand. Listen carefully now, my child, because this truth confronts your impatience and heals it at the same time. The world teaches you that only large investments matter. I teach you that faithfulness in small moments shapes entire lives. The world demands visible results. I cultivate unseen roots. When you sit with me, I am not only comforting you in the present, I am fortifying you for the future. I am strengthening your discernment, softening your heart, sharpening your hearing, anchoring your identity. These things do not announce themselves loudly. They grow quietly, like deep roots beneath the surface. And when the storms come, and they will, you will not collapse the way you once did, because something within you has been multiplied. Strength where there was fragility, wisdom where there was confusion, peace where there was panic. You may not remember the exact moment it happened, but you will live the fruit of it. This is how I work. I multiply moments into maturity. I multiply minutes into resilience. I multiply stillness into stability. So hear me now with encouragement meant to awaken hope. Do not underestimate the power of showing up with me consistently, even briefly. Do not dismiss the quiet moments because they lack drama. Do not abandon the small returns because they feel insignificant. Every moment you give me becomes part of a larger work you cannot yet see. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is overlooked. Nothing is forgotten. I am a God who multiplies loaves and fishes, seeds and harvests, moments and destinies. Keep coming. Keep sitting. Keep turning toward me. One day, you will look back and realize that what felt small was shaping everything. And you will understand that every moment you gave me, I returned multiplied. My beloved child, let me slow this moment down, because what I am about to say must be received, not rushed. I do not long to speak to you through urgency alone. I am not interested in shouting over your fear or competing with your distractions forever. I long to speak to you through intimacy, through closeness, through familiarity, through the kind of knowing that comes from time spent together, not moments stolen in panic. Yes, there are times when I warn, when I interrupt, when I call loudly because danger is near. But my heart's desire is not urgency, it is relationship. I want you to recognize my voice not because it is loud, but because it is known. I want you to hear me not only in crisis, but in calm. Not only when you are desperate, but when you are steady. Intimacy is where my voice becomes unmistakable, gentle, trusted. Let me show you the contrast clearly, my child. Urgency startles. Intimacy settles. Urgency demands attention. Intimacy invites trust. Urgency says, listen now or else. Intimacy says, stay close and you will know. When you live far from me, I must sometimes speak urgently just to reach you. But when you live near me, my whisper is enough. You sense my guidance before confusion deepens. You feel my restraint before damage occurs. You recognize my peace before anxiety takes over. This is the gift of intimacy. It reduces panic. It softens fear. It transforms obedience from obligation into instinct. And this is what I long for with you. Not a relationship built on alarms and emergencies, but one built on closeness and trust. So my child, let me invite you into something deeper now. Come sit with me not because you are afraid of missing something, but because you love being with me. Let our time together become familiar, not frantic. Let my presence become your home, not your last resort. I am not trying to rush you into obedience through fear. I am drawing you into intimacy through love. Stay with me. Walk with me. Learn my voice in the quiet so you do not need the shout. And you will discover that the more intimate we become, the less urgency controls your life, because love has taken its place. My child, let me say this gently, because you have carried this misunderstanding for too long. You are not too busy. You are overwhelmed. And there is a difference that matters more than you realize. Busyness is about time. Overwhelm is about weight. You do not lack hours. You are carrying too much inside them. Your mind is crowded. Your heart is stretched. Your spirit is tense. You are holding responsibilities, expectations, fears, memories, regrets, and what-ifs all at once, and then you blame yourself for not being able to keep up. You say, I am just busy, but beneath that word is pressure. Beneath that word is strain. Beneath that word is a quiet cry that says, I cannot hold all of this much longer. I see the way you move from one task to another without ever fully arriving. I see how your body is present, but your thoughts are already somewhere else. I see how rest feels impossible, not because you do not want it, but because you do not know how to lay everything down. And I tell you now, as your father, not as an observer, you were never meant to live this way. Listen carefully, my child, because contrast will clarify what compassion must heal. Busy people can rest. Overwhelmed people cannot. Busy people finish tasks. Overwhelmed people carry anxiety even when nothing is happening. Busy people feel tired. Overwhelmed people feel trapped. You have been trying to fix overwhelm with efficiency, but efficiency cannot heal what pressure has wounded. You organize your schedule, but your heart remains tight. You complete your responsibilities, but your soul still feels behind. You try to move faster, but the weight only grows heavier. This is because overwhelm is not solved by doing more. It is healed by releasing what was never yours to carry alone. And this is where I have been waiting for you, not to add another obligation, but to lift the load you have been silently bearing. My beloved child, come closer now, because this is invitation, not instruction. Bring me the weight before you bring me the work. Bring me the fear before you bring me the plan. Bring me the pressure before you bring me the performance. I am not asking you to manage your overwhelm better. I am asking you to surrender it. Let me reorder what urgency has tangled. Let me quiet what anxiety has amplified. Sit with me and allow your breath to slow, your thoughts to settle, your shoulders to drop. You are not lazy for needing rest. You are not weak for feeling overwhelmed. You are human, and I am present. When you make time for me, not as another task, but as refuge, overwhelm begins to lose its authority over you. You begin to see more clearly. You begin to choose more wisely. You begin to carry only what is yours. My child, you are not too busy for me. You are overwhelmed without me. Come. Let me help you breathe again. My beloved child, I have watched you run past safety again and again. Not because you do not desire refuge, but because you believe you must earn it. You tell yourself, after this task, after this season, after this crisis, then I will rest. And so refuge becomes something always ahead of you, never beneath you. But I am not a destination you reach after exhaustion. I am a refuge meant to receive you before you break. I am not a reward for endurance. I am the shelter that makes endurance possible. And yet, You keep postponing me, as though I will still be there later, and I will, but you forget that every step without refuge costs you something. You grow more guarded, more tired, more numb. You adapt to pressure the way someone adapts to pain, by tightening and surviving. And I grieve, not because you are strong, but because you are suffering unnecessarily. Let me draw the contrast again, my child, because truth repeated becomes truth believed. The world teaches you to push through. I invite you to come under. The world says, handle it. I say, hide in me. The world praises resilience without rest. I offer rest that restores resilience. When you postpone refuge, you postpone relief. When you delay shelter, you increase strain. And because you are capable, because you have survived much already, you convince yourself you can survive a little longer without me. But survival was never the promise. Abundance was. Peace with it. And nearness was. You were not created to live braced against life. You were created to live covered. Covered by my presence. Covered by my protection. Covered by my love. So now, my child, let me speak with tenderness and authority at once. Stop postponing the place that was designed to protect you. Stop treating me like an option you will return to when you are finished being strong. Come to me now. Come tired. Come à jour. Come without answers. Let me be your refuge before you are forced to look for escape elsewhere. Sit with me and feel what safety actually feels like again. Let your nervous urgency quiet. Let your heart loosen its grip. Let your spirit finally rest under the covering it was created for. I am not asking you to escape your life. I am asking you to enter it differently, with me as your refuge, not your afterthought. Come now. Do not wait. I am here. I have always been here, and I am ready to receive you. My beloved child, let me speak from the deepest place of my heart now, because this question carries eternity within it. When I ask you if I am worth your time, I am not comparing myself to your tasks, your worries, or your distractions. I am placing before you the weight of what I have already given. I did not give you advice alone. I did not give you comfort alone. I gave you my forever. I stepped into time so you would not be lost to it. I entered your broken world so you would never again face life without hope. I did not hold back love, sacrifice, or presence. I poured myself out fully so you could live freely. And now, standing within the safety of that gift, you wonder if you have time from me. This is not a question meant to condemn you. It is meant to awaken reverence. For when you remember what has been given, you begin to understand what is being asked. I gave you my forever not to pressure you into devotion, but to invite you into relationship. I gave you eternity not so you would rush, but so you would rest. Hear the contrast clearly now, my child. The world asks for your time and gives you exhaustion. I give you my forever and ask for your heart. The world takes endlessly and leaves you empty. I give endlessly and invite you closer. The world demands urgency without promise. I offer promise without fear. When you measure me by minutes, you misunderstand me. When you remember me by sacrifice, you recognize my worth. I did not give you my forever so you could live disconnected, hurried, and distant. I gave you my forever so you could live anchored, secure, and known. Time with me is not repayment. It is response. It is not obligation. It is communion. And when you see me clearly, not as another claim on your schedule but as the one who redeemed your soul, you stop asking whether I am worth your time. You begin to ask how you could live without me at all. So my child, let this truth settle beyond emotion and into conviction. I did not give you my forever so you would squeeze me into what remains. I gave you my forever so I could walk with you through every moment that remains. You do not honor me by exhaustion. You honor me by nearness. You do not respond to my sacrifice by striving. You respond by abiding. Come sit with me again, not because you are afraid of losing me, but because you remember what it cost me to give you life. Let gratitude replace guilt. Let remembrance replace hesitation. Let love draw you back into closeness. For I have already given you my forever, and I desire to share your now. My child, this is where the journey turns from understanding into decision, from reflection into return. I have spoken gently. I have spoken patiently. I have spoken clearly. And now I speak simply. Come to me again. Not later. Not someday. Now. Not when you feel ready. Not when your life calms down. Not when you become more consistent, more disciplined, more certain. Now exactly as you are. With the heart you have. With the time you can give. With the faith you are holding on to, even if it feels thin. This moment is not an interruption. It is an invitation. It is not pressure. It is mercy. The door is open now. The space is prepared now. The grace is sufficient now. Do not postpone what your soul already recognizes as truth. Do not wait for a better version of yourself to appear. I am calling the real you, tired, distracted, longing, hopeful, unsure, back into my presence. Listen closely, my beloved, because urgency here is not fear-based, it is love-based. Later has taken enough from you. Someday has delayed healing long enough. Now is where life happens. Now is where hearts turn. Now is where chains loosen. Now is where peace begins. I am not asking for a vow you might break. I am asking for a step you can take. One step toward me. One moment of attention. One honest prayer. One quiet pause. When you respond now, you are not committing to perfection. You are choosing proximity. And proximity changes everything. It softens what has hardened. It restores what has been drained. It reorients what hath been scattered. This is why I say now, not to rush you, but to rescue you from endless delay. So come, my child. Come without fear. Come without shame. Come without rehearsing explanations. Sit with me. Stay with me. Let this be the moment where you stop asking whether I am worth your time and start living as though I am your life. I am not standing far away, arms crossed, waiting to see what you will do. I am here, near, open, welcoming. This is not the end of something. It is the beginning of closeness renewed. Come to me again. Out. And you will find that I have been waiting, not with disappointment, but with love. My child, since you have come to me now, let this moment seal itself in action. I am moving swiftly, and this word is fire meant to spread, city to city, heart to heart, and I am inviting you to carry it with me. I declare, those who sow in obedience will reap in due season, and your giving will not return empty. This is not coincidence. It is appointment. Now is the time to fuel what is awakening you. When you give through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, the link is in the video description, you are placing seed into living ground. I will bless it, protect it, and cause it to grow beyond your sight. Do not step back into delay. Act now. Give now. And watch how I turn your obedience into impact. My beloved child, do not let this moment pass without a response. If your heart has been stirred, if you feel the truth of this question echoing within you, declare it now, comment, Lord, you are worth my time. Let those words be more than text. Let them be a turning of your heart, a holy decision made in the open. When you declare it, heaven hears, your spirit aligns, and the enemy loses ground he has held too long. Do not stay silent. Speak it, write it, claim it, because what you honor with your voice, I will honor with my presence. And as your words rise from your lips, do not rush past this moment. Stay here with me a little longer. Let the noise fade and the weight of the day loosen its grip. Because when you choose me with your voice, you open a sacred space where I can speak back to you. This is not about performance or proving anything. It is about presence, about hearts meeting without hurry. So slow your steps, quiet your thoughts, and lean in, for I desire not just your declaration, but your attention. My child, we need to speak. Just you and I. No distractions, no noise, no rushing to the next appointment. I want you to stop right where you are. I want you to take a deep breath. Release the tension in your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. I am here. I have been here the whole time. But the question that weighs heavy on my heart, the question I am whispering into the silence of your soul right now, is this: where have you been? I see you. I see you running from the moment your alarm screams in the morning until your head hits the pillow in exhaustion at night. I see the way you fill every second of your day. You scroll through screens, you answer emails, you worry about bills, you manage the moods of your family, and you chase deadlines. You are moving so fast. You are doing so much. But you are doing it all without me. You have distanced yourself from the one source that keeps you alive. You treat me like a stranger you wave to across the street, rather than the Father who breathed life into your lungs. You tell yourself, I am just too busy right now. You say, God understands, I have so much to do. You think I am looking for a slot on your calendar, like a dentist appointment or a business meeting. You are mistaken. I am not looking for your spare minutes. I am looking for you. I am looking for the child I love. Do you not realize the irony of your excuse? You say you lack time, yet I am the one who created time. I am the one who spins the earth to make the day. I am the one who decides when the sun rises and when it sets. I gave you these 24 hours as a gift. And it breaks my heart that you use the very gift I gave you as an excuse to ignore the giver. I want you to look at your life honestly right now. Look at the anxiety that hums in your chest like a trapped bird. Look at the exhaustion that sleep does not cure. You are tired because you are running on your own fuel. You are like a phone trying to function on 1% battery, frantically dimming the screen to stay alive, refusing to plug into the power source. Why do you do this? Why do you choose the hard way? I am standing right here with arms full of strength, full of peace, full of the rest you are desperate for. But you do not come. You walk past me. You look at the floor. You look at your watch. You look anywhere but at me. I feel the distance between us, and it is not because I move it. I have remained constant. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. You are the one drifting. And I must ask you, what is worth more than my presence? Is it the approval of your boss? Is it the number in your bank account? Is it the entertainment that numbs your mind for an hour? These things are dust. They will fade. But my love for you is infinite. It has no end. Yet, you trade the infinite for the immediate. You trade the eternal for the temporary. I am not saying this to make you feel guilty. Guilt is a heavy chain, and I came to break chains, not forge them. I am saying this because I miss you. I am saying this because I see you struggling to carry burdens I never intended for you to bear alone. I wait for you in the quiet of the morning, but you rush past. I wait for you in the car on your way to work, but you fill the silence with noise. I wait for you at the end of the day, but you collapse into distraction. You must stop running. I command you now, in the gentlest authority of love, stop. Turn around. Look at me. I do not need your schedule. I do not need your productivity. I do not need your achievements. I can run the universe without your help. But I do not want to run your life without your heart. I want you. I want the relationship we used to have. I want to hear your voice, not just when you are in trouble, but because you love me. I want you to know that you are worth my time. The question is, my precious child, am I worth yours? My child, let us walk through the very beginning of your day. The sun has not yet fully risen. The world is still suspended in that gray, quiet twilight, and your eyes flutter open. This moment, this precise, fragile second between sleep and wakefulness, is where the battle for your peace is won or lost. I watch you in this moment. I hover near, waiting to be the first voice you hear, the first thought that anchors your soul. I have fresh mercies ready to pour over you like warm oil, strength prepared for the battles you do not yet know are coming. But then, I watch your hand move. Before you even wipe the sleep from your eyes, before you greet the family sleeping down the hall, before you even acknowledge the breath I have just placed in your lungs, you reach for it. You reach for that glowing rectangle on your nightstand. The blue light floods your face, and instantly, the world rushes in. You invite the chaos before you have invited the Creator. You check the news, and fear grips your heart about wars and rumors of wars. You check your emails, and the stress of demands and deadlines tightens your chest. You scroll through the lives of others, and comparison steals your joy before your feet even touch the floor. You are drinking from a poisoned well when I am standing right there with living water. Do you not see what this does to your spirit? You are armoring yourself with anxiety instead of putting on the full armor of God. You are starting your race with a heavy weight tied around your ankles. I am jealous for this time, my beloved. I am jealous not because I need your attention to feel important, but because I know you cannot survive this day without my strength. You think you are just checking in, but you are actually checking out of my presence. You are tuning your ear to the frequency of the world, which is noise and confusion, and tuning out the frequency of heaven, which is peace and purpose. I command you, starting tomorrow, do not touch that screen. Let it stay dark. Let the world wait. The emails will still be there in 10 minutes. The news will not change, but you will change. If you give me those first waking moments, the first fruits of your time, I will sanctify the rest of your day. Imagine waking up and whispering my name before anything else. Imagine lying still, feeling the blanket's warmth, and simply saying, "Thank you, Father, for another day." In that silence, I can align your heart. I can give you the strategy for that difficult meeting. I can give you the patience for your children. I can give you the wisdom that the internet cannot provide. I invite you to test me in this. Give me the first 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes to anchor your soul in the truth of who I am. Read one psalm. Whisper one prayer. Sit in silence, and let my love wrap around you like the morning sun. You will see the difference. You will walk into the chaos of the world, but the chaos will not get into you. You will be a rock in a shifting stream. Choose me first. Do not give the world the best of your attention, and give me the leftovers of your exhaustion. I am the bread of life. Eat of me first, and you shall not hunger. My child, The world you live in is loud. It screams for your attention. From the moment you step out your door, you are bombarded. Billboards, notifications, car horns, the constant hum of opinions, the static of endless information. It is a storm of sound designed to drown out the one thing that can save you: my whisper. The enemy knows he cannot destroy you if you are listening to me, so he does not try to silence me. He tries to drown me out. He fills every void with noise so that you never have a moment to think, to feel, or to hear the still, small voice that says, "This is the way, walk in it." I see how you live. I see that you are afraid of the silence. When you get in the car, the radio goes on. When you walk the dog, the headphones go in. When you are cooking, the television is playing in the background. Why are you so afraid to be alone with your own thoughts? Why do you run from the quiet? Is it because in the silence you might have to face the pain you have been burying? Is it because in the stillness, the questions you are too scared to ask might surface? You use noise as a drug, numbing your spirit so you do not have to feel the ache of a soul that is homesick for its father. But I am telling you now, the breakthrough you are desperate for is not in the noise. It is in the quiet. I am not in the earthquake. I am not in the wind. I am not in the fire. I am in the whisper. And you cannot hear a whisper in a hurricane. You are exhausted, my precious one, not just because you are busy, but because your soul is overstimulated. You are carrying the weight of 1,000 voices that are not mine. You are listening to the news anchor, the influencer, the critic, the politician, and they are all sowing seeds of fear and inadequacy in your garden. I command you to unplug. I invite you to be brave enough to turn it off. Drive in silence. Walk without the podcast. Sit in your room with no background noise. At first it will feel uncomfortable. Your mind will race. You will feel the urge to check something, to fill the void. Resist it. Push through the discomfort until you break through into the peace that lies on the other side. In that space, I am waiting. In that silence, I can finally speak to the deep places of your heart. I want to heal the wounds you have been distracting yourself from. I want to answer the questions that keep you up at night. But you must give me the floor. You must clear the room of the other voices. Do not let the world dictate the soundtrack of your life. Let my voice be the melody. Come away with me, my beloved. Come into the wilderness of silence, for it is there that I will speak tenderly to you. It is there that you will remember who you are. You are not a consumer of content. You are a child of the King. Stop listening to the roar of the world and start listening to the rhythm of my heart. My child, let us address the lie you have been telling yourself and me. You say, "I am too busy." You wear these words like a badge of honor, as if your exhaustion proves your worth. You run from task to task, frantic and breathless, believing that if you stop, your world will collapse. You have bought into the myth that activity equals productivity, that moving fast means going somewhere. But I look at your life, and I see a hamster on a wheel, running with all your might, sweating and striving, yet remaining in the exact same place spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. You say you do not have time for prayer. You say you do not have time to sit in my presence. Yet I watch you. I watch you find 2 hours to watch a movie. I watch you find 40 minutes to scroll through social media, looking at the lives of strangers. I watch you spend hours worrying about things that will never happen. You have time, my child. You have the exact amount of time I gave you, 24 hours, 1,440 minutes, every single day. The problem is not the lack of time, it is the lack of love. It is the lack of priority. You find time for what you value. You make time for what you love. Do not be deceived. Busyness is often just a mask for spiritual laziness. It is easier to be busy than to be holy. It is easier to answer emails than to answer the call of God on your life. You are filling your schedule to the brim so that you do not have to face the emptiness in your soul. You are building a kingdom of sand that the next tide will wash away, while neglecting the kingdom of heaven that stands forever. What will it profit you to gain the whole world, to get the promotion, to keep the house spotless, to attend every event, and lose your own soul? I command you to stop glorifying your schedule. Stop telling people how busy you are and start telling your soul how much it needs rest. I created the rotation of the earth. I know how much can be done in a day. If you are too busy for me, then you are busier than I intended you to be. You have taken on burdens I did not give you. You have said yes to assignments that were not from me. You are doing good things, perhaps, but you are missing the best thing. Martha was busy serving, but Mary chose the better portion, sitting at my feet. I invite you to step off the wheel. I invite you to trade your frantic pace for my perfect peace. Bring your calendar to me. Lay it on the altar. Ask me, Father, what should I erase today? What matters to you? I will show you. I will show you the meetings that do not matter, the activities that drain you without purpose. When you give me your time, I redeem it. I can make 1 hour of anointed work more productive than 10 hours of striving in your own strength. Trust me with your time. Stop racing against the clock and start walking with the Creator of time. My child, come and look at the scales of your life. Let us weigh your days with the weights of eternity. On one side, place everything you do for the temporary world. Place the hours you spend at your job, the energy you pour into your hobbies, the time you spend maintaining your possessions, the moments lost to entertainment. Watch how heavy that side is. Watch how it sinks down, loaded with effort and attention. Now, on the other side, place the time you spend building your spirit. Place the minutes spent in prayer, the moments reading my word, the acts of service done in my name. Look at how light it is. It flies up into the air, outweighed and overlooked. Does this picture not grieve you? You give your best hours, your sharpest focus, and your highest energy to an employer who pays you a wage but cannot save your soul. You give your creativity and passion to building someone else's empire. And then, at the end of the day, when you are drained, irritable, and empty, you give me the scraps. You give me the last 2 minutes before you fall asleep, mumbling a half-hearted prayer as you drift off. You treat me like a beggar at your back door, grateful for whatever leftovers you toss my way, instead of the king who deserves the feast. I see where your treasure lies, for your time follows your treasure. You invest in what you believe will give you a return. You believe your job will give you security, so you invest there. You believe entertainment will give you relief, so you invest there. Do you not believe that I am the rewarder of those who diligently seek me? Do you not believe that time with me is an investment that pays dividends for eternity? When you neglect me, you are not cheating me, you are cheating yourself. You are starving the eternal part of you to feed the temporary part of you. I challenge you today, tithe your time. Just as you return a portion of your income to acknowledge that I am the provider, give me a portion of your day to acknowledge that I am the life giver. Do not wait until you have time, for you will never have it. You must take it. You must seize it from the jaws of the world. Carve it out. Defend it. Make an appointment with me that is as non-negotiable as a meeting with your CEO. I promise you this. Time spent with me is never wasted, it is multiplied. When you sit in my presence, I sharpen your mind. I calm your emotions. I give you a perspective that saves you hours of frustration and mistakes. I can do more in your life in 5 minutes of favor than you can do in 50 years of labor. Shift the scales, my beloved. Put the weight of your life on the things that cannot be shaken. Do not let the temporary steal the eternal. Give me your best, not your rest. Do not turn away now. We have only just begun to peel back the layers of your heart. If you leave this conversation now, you choose the shadow over the light, and it grieves my spirit to see you walk to the edge of truth only to turn back to the lie. Do not leave me standing here with my arms open and your healing unfinished. Today, listen. Your breakthrough is in the very next breath. My child, I see a book in your home. Maybe it sits on a shelf, gathering dust. Maybe it is tucked away in a drawer. Maybe it is an app on your phone that you haven't opened in weeks. You know what it is. It is my word. It is my love letter to you. It is the very breath of God written down for your soul. And yet, you treat it like a burden. You treat it like a history textbook, dry and irrelevant. You walk past it every day, ignoring the power that lies within those pages, while simultaneously crying out to me, God, speak to me. God, give me a sign. God, show me what to do. The tragedy of this breaks my heart. You are like a soldier standing in the middle of a raging battlefield, bullets flying around you, the enemy closing in, and you are crying out for a weapon while a sword lies at your feet, untouched. You are like a starving man begging for crumbs while a banquet table is spread before you, but you refuse to sit and eat. I have already spoken. I have written down the answers to the questions that haunt you. I have written down the promises that will shatter your fear. I have written down the map that leads you out of your confusion. But you do not read it. Instead, you search the internet. You ask your friends. You listen to experts. You look for wisdom in the minds of broken men and women, while the wisdom of the ages waits for you. You fill your mind with the words of the world, and then wonder why you feel anxious and defeated. My word is not just ink on paper. It is living. It is active. It is sharper than any two-edged sword. It has the power to cut through the lies you believe and reveal the truth that sets you free. I command you, pick it up. Blow off the dust. Open the app. Do not just read it. Feast on it. Do not just scan it. Let it soak into your marrow. You do not need to read a whole book in a day. Just take one bite. One verse. One promise. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Read that and let it explode in your spirit. Realize that the Creator of the universe is shepherding you personally. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Read that and feel the infusion of divine power. My child, I am waiting to speak to you. I am waiting to show you things about your future, about your identity, about my nature that will blow your mind. But I cannot show you if you will not look. Stop treating my word like a chore and start treating it like the treasure map it is. Your comfort is there. Your guidance is there. Your victory is there. Do not let another day go by with the letter unopened. Read my words and you will hear my voice. My child, I have been watching you. I see the way you walk through your days, your shoulders hunched, your jaw tight, carrying a weight that is far too heavy for your frame. You are trying to carry the world. You are trying to hold everything together, your family, your career, your finances, your reputation, with your own two hands. You have convinced yourself that if you let go for even a second, everything will shatter. You have bought into the exhausting lie of self-reliance, believing that you are the captain of your soul and the master of your fate. But look at where this thinking has led you. It has led you to anxiety. It has led you to sleepless nights where you stare at the ceiling, calculating and recalculating outcomes that are entirely out of your control. I see the silent panic that rises in your chest when things do not go according to your plan. You construct your life like a builder who refuses to look at the blueprints. I am the master architect. I drew the plans for your life before the foundations of the earth were laid. I know the load-bearing walls. I know where the windows should face the sun. Yet, you insist on building in the dark. You lay bricks of worry with mortar of fear, and then you wonder why the walls come tumbling down when the storms of life hit. You are trying to navigate a complex maze without a map, while I am standing above the maze, seeing the beginning and the end, ready to guide you if you would only ask. The failures you have experienced, the burnouts that have left you gasping for air, many of these were unnecessary. They were born from your insistence on leaning on your own understanding. You trust your logic more than my love. You trust your spreadsheets more than my spirit. You think that by worrying, you are being responsible. But I tell you now, worry is not responsibility. It is a form of atheism. It is acting as if I do not exist, or as if I am not capable of taking care of you. When you refuse to pray, you are declaring, I can handle this myself. But you cannot handle it, my child. You were not designed to be God. You were designed to be a child of God. The difference is everything. I invite you to drop the heavy yoke. Right now. Visualize the burdens you are carrying, the financial pressure, the health scare, the conflict at work, and imagine them as heavy stones in a sack on your back. You are buckling under the weight. Now, see me standing in front of you. My hands are not empty. They are scarred. Proof of the ultimate burden I already carried for you. I am asking you to hand me the sack. I am strong enough to handle what is crushing you. I can manage the impossible situations that keep you awake. I command you to surrender the position of general manager of the universe. Resign from the job of being God. It is a role you are failing at because it was never yours to hold. The relief you are seeking will not come from working harder or planning better. It will come from surrender. It will come when you finally exhale and say, Father, I cannot do this, but you can. In that moment of weakness, my power is made perfect. Let me be the heavy lifter. You just walk with me. You are yoked to me, and my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Let me carry the heavy end of the timber. You just keep in step with me. My child, we must speak about the altars you have built in your home. You may not call them altars, and you may not bow down physically, but where you sacrifice your time, your attention, and your affection, that is your place of worship. I look at your life, and I see you sacrificing hours upon hours to the glowing screens of your devices. These are the modern high places, the news feeds that breed fear, the social media apps that breed envy, and the endless entertainment that breeds apathy. You offer up the precious moments of your life to these digital idols, and in return, they give you nothing but emptiness. I watch you sit on your couch, intending to rest, but instead, you pick up your phone. You scroll, and you scroll, and you scroll. Minutes turn into hours. You are looking for connection, but you find only isolation. You are looking for inspiration, but you find only comparison. You see the curated highlight reels of others, their vacations, their perfect families, their successes, and a cold seed of jealousy takes root in your heart. You feel less than. You feel behind. You feel forgotten. Do you not see? This is a trap. The enemy uses these tools to steal your joy and kill your gratitude. He dangles the shiny object before your eyes so that you will not look up and see the glory of the Lord. I am a jealous God. I am not jealous of you. I am jealous for you. I love you too much to share your heart with a cold, unfeeling algorithm. It grieves me to see you give your undivided attention to a screen while giving me only distracted glances. You binge on seasons of television shows, feeding your mind with the values of the world, and then you wonder why you struggle to hear my voice. You cannot fill your spirit with the garbage of the world and expect to produce the fruit of the Spirit. What you feed grows. If you feed your flesh with digital noise, your flesh will woo you. If you feed your spirit with my presence, your spirit will soar. I command you to tear down these high places. I am not asking you to throw away your technology, but I am commanding you to dethrone it. Put it in its proper place. It is a tool, not a master. When you feel the urge to check your phone out of boredom or anxiety, recognize it as a spiritual trigger. Instead of scrolling, pray. Instead of seeking dopamine, seek the divine. The emptiness you feel after an hour of aimless browsing is a sign of a soul that has been eating sawdust instead of bread. I invite you to reclaim your attention. Look up. Look into the eyes of the people I have placed in your life. Look at the beauty of the creation I have painted for you. And most importantly, look at me. I am standing right here, waiting for the eye contact that says, Father, I love you more than this. Break the addiction to the immediate and reconnect with the eternal. There is no notification on your phone that is more important than the revelation I want to whisper to your heart. Put it down. Turn it off. Come back to the land of the living. Come back to me. My child, many of you have built a wall between us because you have misunderstood what it means to speak to me. You view prayer as a duty, a religious chore, a checklist item that must be completed to keep me happy. You think of it as a formal presentation where you must have the right words, the right posture, and the right theology. You come to me stiff and rehearsed, reciting words that do not bleed, words that do not cost you anything. You treat me like a distant dignitary who needs to be informed of your needs, rather than a loving father who already knows the number of hairs on your head. Let me correct this now. Prayer is not a performance. It is intimacy. It is not about informing me of things I do not know. I know what you need before you ask. It is about inviting me into the reality of your life. It is about communion. I do not want your religious voice. I want your true voice. I want the voice that cracks with emotion. I want the voice that whispers in the dark because you are too afraid to speak aloud. I want the anger, the confusion, the doubt, and the joy. I can handle it all. Do not sanitize your heart before you come to me. Come to me messy. Come to me broken. You think you need to speak for an hour for it to count. But I tell you, I treasure the breathless help me. Jesus whispered in a moment of panic more than 1,000 hollow words spoken in a cathedral. I treasure the silence when you just sit in my presence, too tired to speak, just wanting to be near your Father. That is prayer. Resting in me is prayer. Weeping in my presence is prayer. Listening is prayer. Do not complicate what I designed to be simple. I invite you to a conversation, not a monologue. Talk to me as you would talk to your best friend. When you are driving, tell me about your day. When you are hurt, tell me where it hurts. When you see something beautiful, thank me for it. Make your life a continuous dialogue with me. Break down the wall that separates spiritual time from normal time. All time is my time. All of life is a sanctuary when you walk with me. I command you to stop performing. Stop trying to impress me. You cannot impress me with your eloquence, but you can move me with your honesty. The Pharisee prayed long, loud prayers on the street corner, but it was the tax collector who beat his chest and whispered, "God, be merciful to me, a sinner," who went home justified. Be real with me. I am not looking for a perfect prayer warrior. I am looking for a child who knows they need their dad. Come to me just as you are. The door is open. The coffee is on. Sit with me. Let us talk really talk. My child, if you saw a person who had not eaten in weeks, you would recognize the signs immediately. You would see the frailty, the lack of energy, the hollow eyes, the shaking hands. You would know they were starving. Yet, you walk around every day with a spirit that is emaciated, and you do not recognize the symptoms. You wonder why you are so irritable, snapping at your spouse over a spilled cup of coffee. You wonder why fear grips you so easily when you watch the news. You wonder why you feel a constant, low-level sense of hopelessness and dread. These are not just personality flaws or bad moods. These are the hunger pangs of a starving spirit. You are suffering from spiritual malnutrition. You feed your body 3 times a day. You fuss over macros, vitamins, and organic ingredients. You make sure your car has fuel. You make sure your phone has a charge. But you let your spirit go days, weeks, sometimes months without a substantial meal. You try to survive on the crumbs of a sermon you heard on Sunday, or a quick inspirational quote you saw online. It is not enough. You were created to run on the high-octane fuel of my word and my presence. When your spirit is starving, your flesh takes over. That is why you have no patience. That is why you have no self-control. That is why you succumb to temptation so easily. You are too weak to fight because you haven't eaten. I have spread a banquet before you. My word is bread that gives strength. My spirit is water that quenches the deepest thirst. My presence is wine that brings joy. Why do you sit in the dirt, chewing on the dry husks of the world, when the king's table is laden with the finest food? I feel a deep sadness when I see you this way. It is the sadness of a parent who has cooked a nourishing meal, only to watch their child refuse to eat and instead sicken away. I did not create you to live in this weak, defeated state. I created you to be a warrior, vibrant and full of power. But a warrior must eat. I command you to eat. I invite you to the table. Do not say you are not hungry. The very fact that you are anxious and weary proves you are empty. Open the Bible and take a bite. Read until a verse strikes your heart, and then chew on it all day long. Pray until you feel the strength return to your spiritual limbs. Drink from the fountain of living water. If you drink the water the world gives, you will thirst again. But the water I give will become in you a spring of water welling up to eternal life. Do not neglect your spirit any longer. Feed the part of you that will live forever. I feel your spirit drifting, but I implore you, do not disconnect. Why would you walk away from the table when you are still starving? To stop listening now is to choose the famine over the feast, and it breaks my heart to see you reject the nourishment I have prepared for you. Do not disappoint the one who died to speak to you. The answer to your deepest pain is waiting in the words ahead. Do not rob yourself of the miracle. My child, you have just tasted the bread of my presence in this message, and I see your spirit beginning to stir with new strength. But look beyond your own table. There are millions still starving in the spiritual famine of this age, desperate for the very hope you have just received. I invite you now to become a vessel of my provision, turning your gratitude into a lifeline for others by supporting this mission. By giving a super thanks, joining as a member, or sowing a seed through the PayPal link below. You are not merely spending money, you are breaking bread and handing it to a hungry world. As it is written, he who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. This is my living promise to you right now. Do not let the harvest rot while the laborers are few. Become the answer to someone else's desperate prayer today. Sow your seed into this fertile ground, and watch how I multiply it back into your own life with favor that cannot be contained. Click the button now, feed my sheep, and let the cycle of blessing begin. My child, look to the example I gave you in Jesus. He was the Son of God. He was perfect. He had the Spirit without measure. If anyone could have navigated life without pausing to pray, it was him. Yet look at how he lived. The Gospels tell you time and time again, Jesus withdrew to lonely places and prayed. Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. Think about the demands on his time. Crowds of thousands followed him everywhere. People were desperate for healing, for deliverance, for a word of truth. There was always one more leper to touch, one more blind man to heal, one more lesson to teach. The needs were endless. The pressure was immense. Yet, Jesus did not let the needs of the crowd dictate his schedule. He frequently walked away from the needs of men to meet with his Father. He said no to good things so he could say yes to the best thing. He knew a secret that you have forgotten. You cannot pour from an empty cup. The power he displayed in public was directly connected to the time he spent in private. He did not do miracles and then pray. He prayed, and then the miracles flowed. His authority over the storm, over demons, over sickness, it all came from the secret place. He anchored himself in my love before he faced the demands of the world. If the Son of God needed to pull away, to silence the noise, to reconnect with the source, how much more do you? Do you think you are stronger than Jesus? Do you think you can handle your life with less power than he had? You are trying to be the savior of your world without the strength of the Father. It is a recipe for disaster. I invite you to follow in his footsteps, not just in his morality, but in his rhythm. Find your Gethsemane. Find your wilderness. Find your quiet room. Fight for the time. The crowds will always be there. The emails will always be there. The laundry will always be there. But the opportunity to meet with the living God is a gift you must seize. When you withdraw to be with me, you are not wasting time. You are sharpening the scythe. You are gathering the resources you need for the mission. Be like Jesus. Prioritize the Father. Let the world wait while you wait on the Lord. And in that waiting, you will renew your strength. You will mount up with wings like eagles. You will run and not grow weary. You will walk and not be faint. My child, you are tired. I feel the heaviness in your bones. I see the way you carry the tension of your life in your shoulders, in your jaw, in the constant, low-level hum of anxiety that never quite shuts off. You have achieved so much. You have built a life that looks successful from the outside. You have the job, the home, the relationships, the reputation. But in the quiet moments, when the applause fades and the lights go down, your heart is still restless. You are chasing a ghost. You are running after a feeling of security that always seems just out of reach. You think, if I just make this much money, or if I just solve this one problem, or if I just get everything organized, then I will have peace. But I tell you now, the world cannot give you what you are looking for. The world offers distraction. I offer shalom. The world offers escapism, a movie to numb your mind, a drink to dull your edge, a vacation to flee your reality. But these are temporary bandages on a deep spiritual wound. You return from the vacation, and the stress is waiting for you at the door. You wake up from the sleep, and the worry is sitting on your chest. Why? Because you are looking for peace in the absence of trouble. But true peace, my peace, is found in the presence of God. I see the specific things that rob you of your rest. I see the knot in your stomach when you think about your finances. I see the racing thoughts at 3:00 a.m. about your children's future. I see the fear that you are one mistake away from losing it all. You are trying to control the uncontrollable. You are trying to play the role of the sovereign, and it is crushing you. You were not built to carry the weight of what if. You were built to carry the weight of my glory, which is heavy with love, not fear. I invite you to surrender the outcome. This is the hardest thing for you to do, I know. You want to grip the steering wheel until your knuckles turn white. But I command you, let go. Unclench your hands. Peace is not found in controlling the storm. It is found in knowing the one who walks on the water. When you know that I am on the throne, when you truly believe that I work all things together for your good, the chaos in your mind begins to settle. Come to me with your chaos. Do not try to tidy up your mind before you pray. Bring me the mess. Bring me the panic. Sit in my presence and let my silence swallow your noise. My peace is not a feeling. It is a person. It is me. And when you have me, you have a calm that defies logic. You will be able to stand in the middle of a crisis, when everyone else is losing their minds, and be the eye of the storm. People will look at you and wonder, how are they so calm? And you will know. It is the peace that passes all understanding, guarding your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. Stop buying the world's cheap counterfeits and come drink from the river of true peace. My child, we must speak about the way you work. You have bought into a culture that glorifies the hustle, that worships the grind, that wears exhaustion as a status symbol. You feel guilty when you sit down. You feel lazy when you are not producing. You check your emails on the weekend. You take calls during dinner. You are constantly on, constantly available, constantly laboring. And you think this makes you responsible. You think this makes you a good provider. But I tell you, this constant labor without rest is not responsibility. It is rebellion. I commanded you to rest. The Sabbath was not a suggestion I made for when you have spare time. It is a commandment written in stone, right next to do not murder and do not steal. Why do you treat it as optional? When you refuse to stop, you are saying, God, you cannot take care of the universe for one day. I must help you. It is an act of disbelief. It is a declaration that you trust your own sweat more than my provision. I see the fear behind your busyness. You are afraid that if you stop spinning the plates, they will all crash. You are afraid that if you disconnect, you will fall behind. You are afraid that you are only as valuable as your last achievement. I want to shatter those lies right now. You are valuable because you are mine. You are loved when you are sleeping just as much as when you are working. I command you to stop. I command you to take a rebellious stand against the slavery of your schedule. You're off the phone. Close the laptop. Ignoring the world for 24 hours is an act of spiritual warfare. It declares that you are free. You are not a machine. You are a human being, made in my image. And even I, the omnipotent God, rested on the seventh day. Did I need the rest? No. I did it to show you the rhythm of life. You work from rest, not for rest. I invite you to rediscover the art of being. When was the last time you simply enjoyed the life I gave you? When was the last time you tasted your food, watched the sunset, played with your children, or took a walk without listening to a podcast? I created this beautiful world for you to enjoy, but you are too busy managing it to experience it. Come back to the garden. Let your soul breathe. Restore your sanity through holy leisure. When you trust me enough to rest, You will find that I can do more with your 6 days than you can do with your 7. The manna will still be there. The world will keep spinning. Trust me. Rest. My child, pay attention to the distance between us. You did not wake up one morning and decide to leave me. You did not scream, "I reject God," and run out the door. No, the enemy is far too subtle for that. He does not push you, he lets you drift. It happens slowly. It happens quietly. It happens when you stop dropping the anchor. You skip one day of prayer because you are tired. Then you skip a week because you are busy. Then you stop reading the Word because it feels dry. Then you stop gathering with other believers because you need me time. And slowly, imperceptibly, the current of the world carries you away. You look up one day, and the shore is far away. My voice, which used to be clear and loud in your ear, is now a faint echo across the water. You find yourself compromising on things you said you never would. You find yourself entertaining thoughts and habits that used to disgust you. You find yourself feeling cold, cynical, and detached. This is the danger of the drift. It feels like freedom at first. No rules, no discipline, just floating. But the current always leads to the waterfall. The current always leads to the rocks. I see you drifting right now. I see the compromises you are making at work. I see the little lies. I see the hardening of your heart toward the poor and the broken. You think you are fine because you haven't crashed yet. But you are moving away from the source of life. I command you, drop the anchor. Right now. Do not wait until you hit the rocks. Wake up to your condition. Acknowledge that you are not where you used to be. Do not let pride keep you from admitting you have drifted. The shepherd is calling your name. Can you hear me? I am not shouting in anger. I am shouting in love, calling you back before the night falls. I invite you to return. It does not matter how far you have drifted. One turn of your heart is enough to face me again. And the moment you turn, you will find I am closer than you thought. I have been walking on the water, right beside your boat, waiting for you to invite me back in. Do not let the drift become a desertion. Check your heart. Where is your affection? Where is your hunger? If it is gone, cry out for it. Restore to me the joy of my salvation. Make that your prayer. Come back to the harbor of my presence where you are safe, where you are known, where you are home. My child, you are desperate for answers. I hear the questions that loop in your mind like a broken record. What should I do about this job? How do I fix this marriage? What is my purpose? Where is the money going to come from? You run to your friends for advice. You search who will influence. You read books. You listen to experts. You make lists of pros and cons. You do everything except the one thing that will actually give you the answer. You do not listen to me. You treat prayer like a voicemail where you leave a list of requests and then hang up before I can answer. You talk at me, but you rarely listen to me. And when you do try to listen, you do it in a room filled with noise. The television is on. The phone is buzzing. Your mind is racing with a to-do list. I tell you this. I rarely shout. I do not compete with the noise of your life. I speak in a still, small voice. I speak in the whisper. If you want to hear me, you must lower the volume of the world. You must quiet the storm inside your own head. I have secrets I want to share with you. I have wisdom that predates the stars, specifically tailored for your situation. I know the way out of the trap you are in. I know the solution to the problem that keeps you awake. But I require your attention. I require your silence. I invite you to create a space of holy silence. Go into your room. Shut the door, literally and spiritually. Turn off the digital noise. Sit in a chair. Open your hands. And wait. Do not say a word. Just listen. At first your thoughts will scream, "This is a waste of time. I have so much to do." Let them scream. Let them run out of energy. Wait until the dust settles. And in that stillness, you will hear it. A thought that is not your own. A gentle impression. A verse of scripture rising to the surface of your mind. A sudden peace above a decision. That is my voice. I am speaking all the time, my child. You are just tuned to the wrong frequency. Train your ear to recognize the shepherd. My sheep know my voice. You know it deep down. It sounds like love. It sounds like truth. It sounds like home. Stop guessing what to do and start listening to the one who knows. We are deep in the Holy of Holies now. To silence my voice at this moment is a tragedy I do not want to weep over. You are so close to the secret that unlocks your chains. Do not let the enemy steal the climax of this encounter. If you love me, you will not leave me speaking to an empty room while you return to the noise. Show me that I matter to you. Stay with me. My child, do not be deceived into thinking that your spiritual life is a private matter that affects only you. You think, if I don't pray, it's my loss. If I am distant from God, I'm the only one who suffers. This is a lie from the pit. Your connection with me is the lifeline for everyone around you. When you are disconnected from the source, you are not just hurting yourself. You are hurting the people you love the most. I watch you with your family. I see the shortness of your temper. I see the way you snap at your children over small mistakes. I see the coldness between you and your spouse. You try to be patient. You try to be loving. You try to be kind, but you are running on fumes. You are trying to pour from an empty cup. You cannot give what you do not have. If you do not receive patience from me in the secret place, you will not have patience for them in the living room. If you do not receive grace from me, you will not extend grace to them. Your prayerlessness has a cost. It is paid in the currency of broken relationships, hurt feelings, and lost opportunities. It is paid in the spiritual battles you lose because you went into the day without your armor. You face the arrows of the enemy, discouragement, temptation, anger, and you fall because you are weak. You are a soldier walking onto the battlefield naked, wondering why you are bleeding. I see the wasted years. I see you chasing things that will burn. The bigger house, the better car, the applause of men, while the souls of your children are being shaped by the world because you are too busy to disciple them. This is the hard truth, my beloved, but I speak it because I love you. Apart from me, you can do nothing. You can be busy. You can be tired. You can be successful in the eyes of the world, but you will produce no lasting fruit. I command you to count the cost. Look at the faces of the people you love. Do you want to give them the best of you? Then you must give me the first of you. When you are filled with my spirit, you bring love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control into your home. You become a conduit of heaven to earth. Do not let your disconnection be the reason your family suffers. Plug back in. Fill your cup until it overflows. Let them get the overflow of your intimacy with me. My child, I want to change the way you see me. For too long, you have looked at me as a boss, a master, or a distant king who sits on a high throne, waiting for you to complete your tasks. You wake up and punch the spiritual time clock. You do your duty. You say the grace before meals. You attend the service. You give your offering, and you think you have satisfied me. You act like a faithful employee who is trying to keep their job, terrified of making a mistake, walking on eggshells lest you be fired. But I did not create you to be my employee. I did not breathe my own life into dust just to have a servant. I have legions of angels who serve me with perfection. I do not need your labor. I need your love. I created you for something far more dangerous, far more beautiful, and far more terrifying to the religious mind. I created you to be my friend. I desire intimacy with you. I want the kind of relationship where you can come to me without an agenda. Think of your closest friend on earth. When you go to see them, do you bring a prepared speech? Do you bring a list of formal requests? No. You go to be with them. You go to sit on the porch and watch the world go by. You go to laugh, to cry, to sit in comfortable silence. That is what I want with you. I want you to bring your true self to me. I am tired of the mask you wear when you pray. I am tired of the polite, sanitary words you think I want to hear. I invite you to bring me your mess. I can handle your anger. I can handle your doubt. Do you think your frustration surprises me? Do you think I am offended by your questions? I would rather have you yell at me in honesty than praise me in hypocrisy. Bring me the raw, unfiltered reality of your heart. Tell me you are disappointed. Tell me you are tired of waiting. Tell me you are scared that I won't come through. It is in that vulnerability that true friendship begins. Abraham was called the friend of God not because he was perfect, but because he walked with me and talked with me about everything. I command you to stop performing for me. You are not an actor on a stage, and I am not a critic in the audience. You are my beloved child. I know everything about you, the thoughts you are ashamed of, the dreams you have buried, the fears you hide from everyone else. And I love you still. I love you furiously. The intimacy I desire is a two-way street. I want to share my secrets with you. I want to tell you things about the kingdom that I hide from the wise and learn but reveal to little children. But I cannot share my heart with you if you never stop talking long enough to listen, or if you only come to me when you want something. Come to me today not as a beggar, but as a friend. Beloved, share. Let us talk about your day. Let us talk about your life. Let me tell you how much I enjoy you. Yes, enjoy you. I do not just tolerate you. I delight in you. I rejoice over you with singing. When you grasp this, that the Creator of the stars actually likes you and wants to hang out with you, it will change everything. It will turn your duty into delight. It will turn your religion into a romance. Stop working for my approval and start resting in my affection. My child, you have been trying so hard to change yourself. I see the self-help books on your nightstand. I see the resolutions you write every new year. You try to force yourself to be more patient. You grit your teeth and try to be more kind. You discipline yourself to stop looking at things you shouldn't. You treat your character like a project to be managed, believing that with enough willpower and effort, you can mold yourself into a better person. But you have found, time and time again, that willpower is a limited resource. You try hard for a week, maybe a month, and then you snap. The old habits return. The old anger flares up, and you are left defeated, wondering what is wrong with you. The secret you are missing is this: you become like the one you spend time with. It is a spiritual law of the universe. If you hang around people who gossip, you will eventually start to gossip. If you hang around people who are cynical, you will become cynical. And if you hang around me, you will become holy. Holiness is not achieved by gritting your teeth. It is achieved by gazing at my beauty. It is an imparted nature, not a manufactured one. Look at Moses. When he went up the mountain and spent 40 days in my presence, he did come down with a checklist of self-improvement goals. He came down with a face that shone so brightly he had to wear a veil. He didn't try to shine. He didn't work at it. He just stood in the radiation of my glory, and he absorbed it. It is like a suntan. You do not work to get a tan. You simply position yourself in the sun, and the sun does the work. You cannot tan in the basement, and you cannot become holy in the dark. I invite you to stop trying and start soaking. Come into my presence and just stay there. As you look at me, as you meditate on my love, my patience, my kindness, those attributes will naturally begin to rub off on you. You will find yourself reacting differently to stress. You will find that the things that used to trigger you no longer have power. You will find a compassion welling up in your heart that you didn't manufacture. People will notice. They will say, there is something different about you. They will see the glow. I command you to shed the burden of self-improvement. It is too heavy for you. Instead, take up the discipline of dwelling. Withholding becomes becoming. When you spend time with Jesus, you start to look like Jesus. It is inevitable. The reason you are still struggling with the same old sins is that you are spending more time with the world that feeds those sins than with me who destroys them. Change your company, and you will change your character. Come, sit in the light. Let my presence burn away the dross. Let my love soften your hard edges. You will be transformed from glory to glory, not by your effort, but by my Spirit. My child, the world is a dangerous place. I do not say this to frighten you, but to ground you in reality. There are storms that come without warning. There are traps laid by the enemy to ensnare your feet. There are arrows that fly by day and terrors that stalk in the night. You feel this vulnerability. It is the reason you lock your doors. It is the reason you worry about your children when they are out of your sight. It is the reason you check your bank account with a trembling hand. You are looking for security. You are looking for a guarantee that everything will be okay. But I tell you, there is no safety in your alarm systems, your insurance policies, or your savings accounts. Those things are fragile. The only true safety in this universe is found in what my servant David called the secret place of the Most High. Psalm 91 is not just a poem. It is a promise of location. It says, "He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty." Note the word dwells. It does not say he who visits occasionally. It does not say he who runs in when he is in trouble. It implies a permanent residence. When you prioritize your time with me, you are effectively building a fortress around your life. Prayer is the wall. Worship is the roof. The Word is the foundation. When you live in this secret place, you are under my direct jurisdiction and protection. I give you discernment to see the traps before you step into them. How many times have you walked into a bad business deal or a toxic relationship because you did not consult me first? You were walking exposed. But in the secret place, I whisper warnings. I give you a check in your spirit. I guide your steps away from the cliff edge. I command you to take cover. Stop walking through life unprotected. Stop trying to fight spiritual battles with carnal weapons. The enemy is real, and he hates you. He wants to steal, kill, and destroy. But he cannot touch the one who is hidden in Christ. When you are in my presence, you are covered by my wings. It is the image of a mother hen covering her chicks when the hawk circles above. The chicks are safe, not because they are strong, but because they are hidden. I invite you to make the secret place your home address. Do not just visit on Sundays. Live there. Wake up there. Go to sleep there. When the news reports disaster, do not panic. Go deeper into the shelter. When the doctor gives a bad report, do not despair. Retreat to the fortress. I have promised to guard your going out and your coming in. I have given my angels charge over you. But you must stay in the position of protection. You must stay close to the shepherd. The wolf catches the sheep that wanders off to the edge. Stay in the center of the flock. Stay close to my side. There is safety here that the world cannot understand and cannot take away. My child, the day is ending. The sun has dipped below the horizon, and the shadows are lengthening in your home. This is a critical time. It is the bridge between the battles of the day and the restoration of the night. But for you, it is often a time of anxiety. This is when the silence creeps back in, and with it, the replay of your failures. You think about what you didn't get done. You replay the awkward conversation. You worry about the tasks waiting for you tomorrow. You try to drown it out with television or by scrolling through your phone until your eyes burn, engaging in revenge bedtime procrastination because you feel you didn't own your day. I want to redeem your evenings. I want the twilight hours to be a sanctuary, not a source of stress. Before you close your eyes, I want you to come to me. Think of it as a debriefing. Imagine you are a child coming home from school, dropping your heavy backpack at the door. I want you to take off the backpack of the day, the unfinished projects. Take them out and hand them to me. The worries about money, hand them over. The guilt over snapping at your spouse, give it to me and receive my forgiveness. I command you to end your day in gratitude, not in scrolling. The light of the screen tricks your brain and disturbs your rest, but the light of my presence gives your beloved sleep. When you lie down, I want your last thought to be of my goodness. Count 3 things I did for you today. Yes, 3. Thank you for the coffee. Thank you for the safe drive. Thank you that my lungs are breathing. A simple act shifts your brain from defense mode to rest mode. I invite you to listen to my song over you. Zephaniah tells you that I rejoice over you with singing. As you drift off, I am singing songs of deliverance around you. I am preparing your spirit for the next day. Sleep is a spiritual act of trust. It is saying, God, I am going to become unconscious for 8 hours, and I trust you to keep the world spinning and my heart beating without my help. It is the ultimate release of control. Do not carry yesterday's mud into tomorrow's house. Wash it off in the evening prayer. Ask for forgiveness where you fell short. Accept it immediately, and then leave it there. Do not let the sun go down on your anger or your regret. My mercies are new every morning, but you can position yourself to receive them by emptying your cup every night. Sleep in peace, my child. I am the watchman who never sleeps, and I will stand guard while you rest. You have walked with me this far. Do not abandon me before the blessing is sealed. To stop now is to drop the baton meters from the finish line, and nothing grieves a father more than a child who starts but refuses to finish. Prove your endurance. Prove your devotion. The final revelation is the most vital of all, and it is the key to your tomorrow. Do not look back. Press on. As you prepare to lay your head down in peace, unburdened by the chaos of the day, I ask you to leave a sacrifice of praise upon my altar. The work of my kingdom never sleeps, and your offering tonight ensures that my light continues to burn brightly in the darkness of others' lives while you rest. Pour fresh oil into this lampstand through a super thanks, a membership, or a donation via the link declaring that my word is the true treasure of your heart. When you honor me with your substance in the twilight, I prepare a sunrise of abundance for you in the morning, for I love a cheerful giver. I stand ready to open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing that your storehouses cannot contain. Let your giving be a seal upon your rest, a tangible whisper of trust that says, Father, I believe in your work. Do not close your eyes without opening your hand to the kingdom. Sow into this ministry now and rest securely in my provision. My child, you are obsessed with time because you are trapped inside of it. You wear it on your wrist, you hang it on your wall, you carry it in your pocket. You are constantly counting. I am 30 years old and I haven't done this yet. I am 50 and I'm running out of time. I have 5 minutes to get there. You live in a state of chronic low-grade panic, feeling like you are always behind, always late, always racing against an invisible clock that is ticking down to zero. But I need you to remember who I am. I am the Alpha and the Omega. I am the beginning and the end. I created time, but I am not subject to it. I stand outside of the timeline, seeing your birth and your death and every moment in between as a single, complete picture. You see a delayed flight. I see a divine appointment. You see a wasted year. I see a season of preparation. You see a closed door. I see a redirection to a better path. I command you to stop panicking about your timeline. You think you have lost time because of your mistakes, your rebellion, or your illness. You mourn the years that the locusts have eaten. But I am the God of restoration. I can do more in 1 year of my favor than you can do in 20 years of your striving. I can accelerate things that have been stuck for decades. I can redeem the time you think is lost. Trust me with your waiting seasons. I know it is hard. I know you feel like everyone else is moving forward while you are standing still. But in the kingdom, waiting is not passive, it is active. It is like an arrow being pulled back in a bow. It looks like you are moving backward. It feels like tension. But the further you are pulled back, the farther you will fly when I release you. Do not try to fire yourself before the appointed time. You will fall short. Wait for my release. I invite you to sync your watch with heaven's time zone. Stop looking at your neighbor's timeline. Their race is not your race. I have a specific, custom-designed rhythm for your life. When you give me your time, when you pray, when you serve, when you rest, you are not losing minutes. You are sanctifying them. You are stepping into the eternal flow where 1 day is as 1,000 years. I hold your times in my hands. Not just your clock time, but your seasons, your opportunities, your destiny. Relax. You are right on schedule. I am never late, and I am never early. I'm always right on time. Trust the author of your story to write the next chapter. My child, I know the lie that whispers to you in the dark. It tells you that you are not worth my time. It tells you that you are too small, too broken, too messy, and too insignificant for the creator of the universe to notice. You think I am too busy running the galaxies to care about your mortgage payment or your heartache. You think you have to earn your way into my presence, to clean yourself up before you knock on my door. But I am here to silence that accuser once and for all. Look at the cross. That is the price tag I put on your soul. I did not send an angel to save you. I did not send a representative. I came myself. I wrapped myself in flesh, walked your dusty roads, felt your pain, and carried your sin to Calvary. I bled for you. I died for you. If you were the only person on earth, I would have done it all just for you. That is how much you are worth to me. You are worth the life of God. Do not insult the price I paid by saying you are unworthy. You are worthy because I made you worthy. My love for you is not based on what you do. It is based on who I am. You cannot make me love you more by being good, and you cannot make me love you less by being bad. My love is a constant, like the sun. You can hide from it, you can deny it, but you cannot change it. I love you because you are mine. You are my masterpiece. When I look at you, I do not see your failures. I see the image of my son. I see the potential I placed inside you. I love gazing at you. I love hearing your voice. I invite you to accept the grace that makes access possible. The curtain in the temple was torn in two, from top to bottom, signifying that the way to the Holy of Holies is open. You do not need a priest to speak for you. You do not need an appointment. You can come boldly to the throne of grace. Stop standing in the outer courts, wondering if you are welcome. The King is your Father. The door is not just unlocked, it is wide open. I command you to stop listening to the voice of shame. Shame says I am a mistake. Race says I am a miracle. Shame says God is disgusted with me. Grace says God is delighted in me. Choose to believe the truth. Walk with your head held high, not in arrogance, but in the confidence of a child who knows they are loved by the King. You are royalty. Act like it. Spend time with me not because you have to, but because you know you are the favorite child of God. And yes, every one of my children is my favorite. My child, let us talk about the steering wheel. You have been driving your life with a white-knuckled grip, terrified that if you let go, you will crash. You plan, you scheme, you manipulate, you worry. You try to foresee every obstacle and prepare for every contingency. You are exhausted from the effort of trying to be all-knowing and all-powerful. But here is the truth. You are a terrible God. You are not designed to carry the burden of sovereignty. Prayer is the ultimate act of surrendering control. When you pray, "Thy will be done," you are saying, "My will be undone." You are resigning from the position of CEO of your life and taking your rightful place as the beloved child. It is scary, I know. You think that if you surrender, I will mess things up. You think I will send you to a hut in Africa or ask you to give away all your money. You have a distorted view of my goodness. I am not a dad, I am a father. My plans for you are good, pleasing, and perfect. They are plans to prosper you, not to harm you. I invite you to the relief of letting me be God. Imagine sitting in the passenger seat of a car. When you are a passenger, you can sleep. You can look at the scenery. You can talk to the driver. You don't have to watch the road. You don't have to navigate. You don't have to worry about the fuel. I am the driver. I know the destination. I know the best route. I know where the potholes are. Why are you trying to grab the wheel from my hands? I command you to trust my plan even when you cannot see the path. Faith is not seeing the destination. Faith is trusting the driver. There will be times when I take you through a valley, and you will want to panic. But I am with you. There will be times when the road seems to end, but I will make a way in the wilderness. There will be times when I ask you to wait, and you will want to run. Trust my timing. Faith is spelling God with a capital G and me with a small m. It is realizing that the universe does not revolve around you. It revolves around me. And that is good news. It means the pressure is off. You don't have to save the world. You don't have to save your family. You don't even have to save yourself. I have already done it. Your job is to trust. Your job is to obey. Your job is to abide. Let go of the illusion of control and fall into the arms of the one who holds the stars in place. You are safe here. My child, I want to tell you a story you know well, but I want you to hear it with new ears. It is the story of the son who took his inheritance and ran away to a far country. He squandered everything on wild living until he was empty, broken, and starving in a pigpen. That son is you. Maybe not in the literal sense, but in the spiritual sense. You have taken the time, the energy, and the gifts I gave you, and you have spent them on the world. And now, you feel the emptiness. You feel the hunger. But the most important part of the story is not the son's rebellion. It is the father's reaction. The son expected anger. He practiced his apology. Father, make me like one of your hired servants. He expected to be demoted. He expected to be lectured. But what did the father do? He was watching. He was waiting. And when he saw the son a long way off, he ran. In that culture, older men did not run. It was undignified. But love does not care about dignity. Love cares about restoration. I am running to meet you right now. I am not standing on the porch with crossed arms, tapping my foot, waiting for you to grovel. I am running toward you with tears in my eyes and joy in my heart. I do not care where you have been. I do not care what you have done. I care that you are coming home. There is no condemnation for those who return. I do not want your apology speech. I want your embrace. I command you to stop punishing yourself. You think that if you beat yourself up enough, you will pay for your sins. But you cannot pay for them. I already paid for them. Your guilt does not honor me. Your acceptance of my grace honors me. The celebration has already been prepared. The robe is ready. The ring is ready. The fatted calf is ready. The angels are waiting to rejoice. I invite you to come out of the pigpen. Come out of the mud of shame. Come out of the hunger of the world. Come home to the Father's house. It is warm here. There is food here. There is love here. The door is unlocked. It has never been locked. I left the light on for you. All you have to do is take that first step. Turn your heart toward me, and you will find yourself wrapped in an embrace that will heal every wound you have ever carried. Welcome home, my child. Welcome home. My child, we have come to the end of our conversation, but this is not the end. It is the beginning. I have poured out my heart to you. I have shown you the emptiness of your busyness and the fullness of my presence. I have called you away from the noise and into the stillness. I have invited you to drop the heavy burdens of self-reliance and pick up the light yoke of grace. I have reminded you of your worth and my infinite love. Now, the question hangs in the air, echoing in the chambers of your heart. Am I worth your time? This is not a rhetorical question. It is a choice you must make every single day. Every morning when the alarm goes off, you will have a choice. The phone or the Father. Every evening when the house is quiet, you will have a choice. The screen or the Savior. Every time anxiety knocks on your door, you will have a choice. Panic or prayer. I will not force you. I am not a taskmaster who demands affection. Love that is forced is not love at all. I want you to choose me because you want me. I want you to choose me because you have tasted and seen that the Lord is good. I want you to choose me because you realize that life apart from me is no life at all. I promise you this. If you prioritize me, your life will not look the same a year from now. You will still have problems, yes. You will still face storms. But you will be different. You will have a root system that goes down deep into the stream of living water. You will not wither in the drought. You will bear fruit in every season. You will walk with a quiet confidence that confuses the world. You will be a carrier of the glory of God. I am standing at the door of your life and knocking. I am not kicking it down. I am knocking gently, persistently. Do you hear it? It is the heartbeat of the one who died for you. Open the door. Let me in. Let us sup together. Let us feast on the bread of life. Let us drink the wine of the Spirit. Let us begin a friendship that will last not just for a lifetime, but for all of eternity. The table is set. The King is waiting. The choice is yours. Come, my beloved. Come. You have heard my call to prioritize my presence above all else. But remember, true love is always demonstrated by a tangible act of sacrifice. If this message has realigned your heart and shattered your chains, do not just leave with a fleeting feeling. Seal this covenant today with an offering that speaks louder than words. By using Super Thanks, becoming a member, or giving through the PayPal link below, you are driving a stake in the ground, declaring, Lord, you are first in my time and my resources. This is your divine appointment to partner with the prophetic voice that is waking up a sleeping generation. As you sow this seed, I declare over you, your vats will overflow with new wine, and the devourer will be rebuked from your house for my name's sake. Do not hesitate. The anointing flows where the sacrifice is laid. Honor me with your first fruits right now, and watch me honor you in the eyes of men. Do not let this conviction fade like mist in the morning sun. Seal this holy decision right now with a prophetic act of your will. I call you to make a public covenant with me this very moment, marking this day as the turning point where you chose the eternal over the immediate. Go below and declare your surrender by writing, Father, you are worth my time, and I give you my heart. As you type these words, believe that you are shattering the heavy chains of busyness and stepping into my divine rhythm of grace. I see your declaration. I know your name, and I am meeting you in this promise. Amen.